Fathers love everyone and welcome to A Crack in the Darkness number 20. The hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. And he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then he said unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord God, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Hey, Seji. Seji? Hey, Seji.
Hey, Armor. Sorry about that. I forgot I was muted up. Crack in the Darkness number 20.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those of you who pay attention, last week I said we was episode 18. I was wrong. That was episode 19. So this week is episode 20. I did retitle it in the thingy, so yeah, in case anyone was wondering, wait a minute, I thought last week was 18. Nope, that was really 19.
All right.
That's 20.
That's pretty cool, though, that we were at number 20. And it happens to be our holiday special.
Yes, a Christmas Eve show. So we have a Christmas themed show for you this evening. We got lots of songs. We're going to talk about how gift wrapping even came to be, how it got invented. We're going to talk about the art of gift wrapping and how much it matters and all kind of stuff. Gifts throughout the decade.
I was telling you before the show, Armor, I was telling you how this is a show even like you could actually have it on the TV while you're doing your holiday experience, while you're getting your turkey made and people are coming in and out the door or whatever. You can actually have this on the background of your TV. It's even Grandma would like this show today. I'm telling you, it's so awesome and laid back and nostalgic. Yeah, it'd be impossible not to like tonight's show. I'm just saying.
Yes, I agree. I think this will be a very family friendly show to just put on as you gather around for your Christmas evening and do whatever you do. I mean, some people have different traditions. Well, when I grew up, I'd always get to open one gift on Christmas Eve, and we did the same with our kids. And so, yeah, whatever tradition. Oh my goodness, dude, we've got Santa Von Claus in the house, the real one.
Oh my gosh! I mean, what are the odds?
Ho 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 to you too, big guy. Glad you could take some time out of your busy schedule to drop in and visit. We got some songs about you this evening. So stick around, you may enjoy them. Go Kart Bob, hi Saji, Armor, and Eddie, he sees an Eddie somewhere. I don't know where Eddie is, but I do see a Santa Von Claus. But I don't know who this Eddie is he speaks of.
Right. I know it's
Wink, wink,
it's that
wink,
whole
nudge, nudge.
Vaughn thing throws you
Yeah,
off a little bit.
yeah, must be.
We'll have to keep an eye on that situation.
Absolutely. So how you doing this evening, my friend? Ready for a good Christmas Eve?
Yeah, I'm as ready as I'll ever be. It's coming and going with or without me.
Yep, exactly. Same way with me. It's mighty cold in these parts. -2 this morning when I was out running around. It's a balmy 9 degrees now, so it's shot up quite a bit.
You say balmy 9 degrees.
Balmy
You go
9,
out
yep.
there. Yeah, that's just Carhartt weather. That ain't nothing special.
Yeah, good Carhartt. That'll keep you in that. The wind was wicked, though. It finally settled down, but yeah, it was nasty. Wind chill was -26 when I was out there running around this morning. And it was whipping, believe me. Tried to blow the papers out my hand. Ray of Sunshine in the house. Welcome, Ray of Sunshine. Always a pleasure to see you. Merry Christmas, she says to all of us. Likewise, my dear sister.
I know who can't be happy when a ray of sunshine comes into the room. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. If that don't crack your darkness, nothing will.
So, boom.
Yeah, speaking of a Christmas special, you couldn't kick off a Christmas special, in my opinion. Now, I am a highly opinionated person. I've been told that many times. But in my opinion, the only correct way to kick off a show when it's a Christmas themed show is with the. Now, I don't have any videos because of copyright issues. Oh, and by the way, if the show disappears throughout the evening, stick around. We'll be back when the song ends because there's probably 90% of this music has a high chance of getting me struck on YouTube like they did the Gobble Gobble song. So if that happens, stick around. We'll be back as soon as the song ends. So, but anyhow, to kick it off without further ado, let's find out what Christmas is all about.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
That's what Christmas is all about, Saji Brown.
That's what Christmas is all about. Nobody told me. Oh my God.
There you go. See, we're educating already.
I thought it was about putting presents under the Christmas tree and getting a new Apple iPod.
That's what they'd like you to think. And that's what, yeah, unfortunately, what it's become. But it became that many, many, many decades ago. It's nothing new. Got commercialized long ago when I was a youngin'. It was starting to get commercialized quite well. But yeah, you can't start a Christmas show without Linus, Charlie Brown. That's just classic in my book. I still watch that, or try to at least watch it every year. In fact, we have to see when it's on.
I wonder if they air that portion on the air.
They still do. Yeah, what's that?
I know they play the whole Thanksgiving or Christmas special, but I'm just curious if they cut that portion out of the over the air part.
Nope. Well, at least they didn't last year when we watched it. I haven't watched it this year yet, but nope, it's
Well, that's
uncut.
good.
Can't stop that. No. And Go Kart Bob says, yeah, Chuck. That's right, old Chuck. When's the last time that the Peanuts Christmas show has been aired? It airs every year, Santa Von Claus. Every year. Multiple times. At least it still does here in PA. On many networks. That and the old Rudolph. And a lot of the good old Christmas ones I grew up watching as a child still air. Santa was invented by Hallmark. Yeah, well, they definitely played a part in the Americanization of it. But Santa was invented long ago. What channel? About any major network, my friend. ABC, NBC, CBS. CBS always carries it because that's usually the one I watch on. So I know CBS always plays them. And they're usually close to the same nights, Rudolph and Charlie Brown. And Frosty and some of the other ones they always play. Frosty, Rudolph, Charlie Brown. Those three are
I
definitely
think they're on YouTube now as well.
The Grinch, of course, the original Grinch, which is my second favorite of all time. Yeah, you can easily find them on YouTube anymore, I'm sure. But yep, they're classics in my book. Yeah, we got lots of interesting topics for this evening. The one is a really long article. We're going to talk about the holiday gift crazes and fads from decades past to present day. So that'll be fun. Yeah, there you go, Santa Von Claus. I missed the CBS classic lineup. Rudolph, followed by Victoria's Secret fashion show. Bob seeing Charlie Brown a few weeks ago. That's cool. Christmas magic was really Mom, Ray of Sunshine says. Yep, absolutely. Mom plays a big part in it because Mom does most of the work and the decorating and yep. Without grandmoms and moms, Christmas just wouldn't be the same. So you got any big plans for tomorrow, my friend? Or are you just gonna chill at the camper and do the usual?
Yeah, I don't have any big plans. Just chilling.
Yep, we don't either. Hopefully, maybe one of the kids and the grandkids might stop and visit. Hopefully, if we're lucky. But I don't know. It's a mess out there. It's pure ice, so I highly doubt we'll see anybody. And I don't blame them because my driveway is a sheet of ice. You can't even get up it. So.
Yeah, it's best just to stay put when conditions get extreme.
Yeah.
Unless you absolutely positively got to get there.
Yep, and you know where I got to go that bad. I'll send them all a Christmas text tomorrow, and there you go. That's what Pap was able to get for you this year. So. Enjoy. Know that we love you.
You didn't get a lot of snow though, did you?
Well, we got about I'd say over 6 inches, and then the rain and sleet started, and it went on for about a day. And then it got to 0 and negatives, and so yeah, it's just one solid sheet of ice. Even the anti-skid ain't doing much. You throw it on the driveway and you still can barely walk on it. So Well, like I said, it's
And
supposed
how
to be
long
60
till
next week.
when does it start to thaw out? How many more days?
Well, tomorrow's supposed to be 20. And then I think Monday may get up to around freezing. And then I think by Tuesday, we're supposed to be starting to get into the 40s and the 50s.
Okay. You got at least a day and a half to 2 days worth of vests.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes it fun trying to keep the animals watered, and because that stuff just freezes like a popsicle. Twice a day, you got to take down a nice hot bucket of water and bring all the rabbit bottles up, put them in the tub, and thaw them out. And luckily, the goat and the pig have a heated water dish that seems to work well even in this extreme cold. The chicken water heaters, I gotta have to redesign a bit, put in a higher bulb, I think, for extreme weather. But Bob said they had freezing rain for 2 days. All melted today. Temp was down to 22. Oh, 22 would be awesome. That'll be like a heat wave. That's what even the one radio girl was saying. She goes, by the end of the week, it's going to be 50. You guys will be out there in your shorts and sandals and flip flops. Like, you know it. 50 will be like tropical. Negative 26 wind chill and -2 real temperature. Brutal. I couldn't imagine being out there, and yeah, you couldn't survive in that stuff long. Well, brother, since we got so many songs, I say we do another tune, and then we'll, I guess we'll see how gift wrapping got invented. What do you think?
All right, sounds like a plan, my man.
Oh yeah, Bob says it's 45 where he's at now. Feels like summer, guaranteed. Yeah, it's crazy how that is in the summertime when it drops to like 50, 45. You're like, "Ooh, it's chilly. Put on a jacket. Good night for a campfire." In the wintertime when it gets to 45, 50, you're like, "Oh yeah, it's a heat wave. Put on a jacket." All right, well, here's another song to again, Linus told us what Christmas is all about, so let's sing a little bit about what Christmas is all about. All right. 'Tis the reason I celebrate the season. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm glad he made a way. What do you think, Sedgy?
I thought it was a beautiful song.
Yeah, and all the links to all the songs tonight are already in the description. The videos are definitely do them better justice, at least the parodies and a lot of the other songs. So I do suggest clicking the links and watching the actual videos if you like them. That was Brandon Heath and Tasha Layton. God made
When
a
do
way.
you suppose, Armor? When do you suppose it was that Mangers like fell out of service?
Well, I don't know if they necessarily ever have. I mean,
You don't hear about lots of people being born in mangers.
well, they're called barns now mostly, but a barn's basically a manger. You know what I mean? The
Okay.
animals, the stalls, just different term. I think still basically the same thing. I mean, a little
So
bigger
it has
than they
nothing to do with a baby being born there
No,
or
I
its
don't think that
name.
happens very often. Pretty rare, I would say. Of course, I don't know. You know, parts where I live, there is a lot of farm girls and men, and back in the day, you didn't always run to the hospital to have a child. A lot of them had them at home. So there may have been one or two more born in a barn that we know of. But there was only one
Gotcha.
important one, that's for sure. Manger or manger?
How do you
Neither.
pronounce it?
Well, it's manger, but neither one of those spellings. If it's like a Mandela spelling thing, neither one of those are correct. Manjor or major.
It sounds French.
Yeah. Manjor. He was born in the Manjor. Yeah, manger is Marnger in my book. Always was, and as far as I know, still is. Manger. I'll put it in the chat. Oh, wait. Got to click before you can type. Manger. That's how. Manger was always written in the Away in the Manger books and stuff. I used to play a lot of these songs. Well, the older ones, of course, that's a newer song. But yeah, there you go. Ray got it too. I used to play all these songs on my organ growing up in my room. I used to love playing the Christmas songs and stuff like that on my organ. So yeah, I'm used to seeing Away in a Manger in writing, and it definitely always was, and always still is, as far as I know. Manger. And we do have a special guest this evening, but they are busy cooking and preparing dinners and in and out of a party. So they may be popping in here and there. So expect them to pop up at any time. So yes, we do have a special guest hopefully popping in this evening. But what do you think of the whole gift wrapping thing? Was you ever into gift wrapping? And why do women always seem to wrap better than men?
Yeah, that's a good question, Armor. I've often pondered that myself. I mean, my mom and my aunt and my sisters, like all the women in my family, they wrap impetuously. Yeah. They have the greatest wrapping skills ever. Neat, precise, trim. And I start cutting it up with some scissors, and none of my lines are lining up exactly. I just fold it and tape it best I can. It looks a little bit raggedy at best, probably in comparison, but I'm pleased with it. It meets my final inspections.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think that is a common thing, that theirs are always so precise and perfectly creased. And yeah, mine, the creases just never seem to work out. Usually, like you said, it just ends up a mushed up mess under there. You fold it over, tape it.
Do you think when women gift to other women, when they go to unwrap it, they slowly pull the corners and see how straight and how precise they got it, and critique their ability to have wrapped it properly?
I know people that
each other's hearts is
actually try to save the paper. They would open it so carefully, and
yes,
yeah, like you said, just try to. Maybe they were just to inspect it. I don't know why they did it. I always found it strange, but we would just tear it open. It's coming off.
We would pay no attention to how. Yeah, it would make no difference to me how even the line was and how much tape you used. It mattered to me how quick I can pull it apart.
Yep. Well, let's take a look at exactly how all that craziness even started. Because I was thinking to myself, how did this even become a thing, wrapping presents? So I found an article, so we'll share it. We'll see about the who invented gift wrapping. So let me get it sharing here. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep, I can see it.
All right, and this is from Better Homes and Gardens. So let's see who invented this stuff. Says, I look forward to giving Christmas gifts all year. Part of the thrill is finding the perfect gift for the hard to shop for friend or family member. But the part I look forward to most is wrapping all my gifts in festive paper, ribbons, and do it yourself bows. Each year, I choose a theme and wrap all the gifts in coordinating colors and patterns so the boxes look pretty piled under my tree. Of course, wrapping gifts isn't limited to the holiday season. I go all for birthday gifts, wedding presents, baby shower gifts also. Wrapping gifts is something my family has always done, but this year I started wondering how the tradition got started. It is pretty wasteful after all. So I did some digging and found out the first recorded wrapped gifts can be traced as far back as the 1300s. And it turns out the earliest methods of gift wrapping weren't done with paper at all. So interesting. Have you ever seen the people that did the wrapping themes, like they're saying, like maybe use dog theme this year, or reindeer theme, or snowman theme?
No, but I remember like when my mom would get the gift wrapping paper out, the holiday wrapping paper, she would have like 5 or 6 different rolls she could choose from. Like one with snowman, one with Christmas trees, one with this, that, or the other. And she would say, we only use these for the kids and these for the adults and stuff like that. But that's about the extent of it.
Yep. Yeah, you definitely have to have a selection, and definitely some for kids and adults. Okay, well, let's read on. Why we wrap Christmas gifts. The first recorded form of gift wrap is actually fabric. Those who practiced traditional Korean folk religions during the Three Kingdoms period believed that wrapped items were a symbol of protection and good luck. So giving a gift wrapped in cloth was a way to bestow protection and good fortune upon the recipient. Another early gift wrapping tradition is the Japanese style of furoshiki, wrapping gifts in cloth fabric, which has been around since the Tokugawa period in the 1600s. Even the wise men wrapped the gifts they brought to baby Jesus, although they enclosed their gold, frankincense, and myrrh in small treasure chests rather than in red plaid paper. This is also likely why we associate gift wrapping with Christmas, even though it's done for most gift-giving holidays. So fabric was the original gift wrap. So how do we transition to modern paper? What's that?
It makes you think of book covers. A book cover, when you make like a cover for a book to protect it.
Yeah.
I remember using fabric. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to use the old brown grocery bags, and that's what we'd make our book covers out of. You can
Yep.
get your brown grocery bags. That's what a lot of my book covers were. But okay, where was we at? So how do we transition to the modern paper gift wrap we use today? Can all be credited to the popularization of Christmas cards. In the mid-1800s, people began sending paper Christmas cards across Europe and America. As printing technology improved, it became easier to print and sell paper cards. Eventually, the custom became so popular that card manufacturers began printing patterned tissue paper to match the designs printed on the cards. And the demand steadily increased. By the early 1900s, both paper Christmas cards and paper tissue had become wildly popular in the West. But the invention of the true paper gift wrap can be credited to Hallmark. In 1917, the Hall brothers were running a stationery store in Kansas City, printing cards and tissue paper for the upcoming holiday season. When they ran out of the tissue paper people were using to wrap gifts, they started printing large rolls of the patterned wrapping paper we know and love today. Within 2 years, Hallmark was making and producing large quantities of gift wrap and selling it all over the country. So there you go. Hallmark started the actual wrapping paper we know today in 1917. Whether you're wrapping a birthday gift or planning for the holidays, consider the long history behind the practice of wrapping gifts and take a few pointers from those who wrap their gifts in fabric or recycled materials rather than ordering a new roll of paper. So there you go.
The 1917, huh?
That's when the official paper was printed. Yep. But it goes back even to, what did it say? I think the 1600s, 1300s.
That's barely 100 years ago. But it seems like it's been forever. Like, I don't remember a time before it. So to me, it's always been that way.
And I
don't know,
I might have faint memories of actually having some gifts wrapped in fabric when I was real little from some of my aunts and stuff. So
okay.
But that was a long, long time ago, so I can't say for sure. But I'm pretty sure I do remember one or two. They were wrapped in like a cloth, a decorated cloth. Like a lot of my aunts are very, what do you call that? Crafty. They do lots of craft and make stuff, and it passed down to some of their daughters. So a lot of my cousins are also crafty. So. We have sometimes actually decorated her book covers. Yep, me too. We always drew on our book covers. That's why the brown grocery bags were cool, because you had a nice brown background that you could draw on or color on or whatever.
It actually looks old school when you do it right.
Yeah. I don't even know if I could remember how to fold one anymore.
I'm sure it would come back to you. It might take you a couple tries.
Yeah, I don't know. That was many, many, many decades ago, my friend. Many.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video on how to do it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Of course, who knows? Nowadays, they just make the ones you buy in the store or the slip-ons, and so it may be a lost art.
Yeah, I see your point. The force is strong with this one.
But speaking of wrapping presents, does it really matter how good they're wrapped? But before we get into that, remember, you do gotta wrap it.
Wrap that gift. Hey, this is a snap. Carefully packed. That thing in bubble wrap. When Christmas comes along, when using gold you can't go wrong. Make sure the ribbon's strong.
So wrap it. Use some tape. Tape it up. Fold it straight. Go for it. Green and red. Try to protect it and decorate with paper. Wrap it good.
Christmas Eve you shop around. When your in-laws are in town,
You must wrap it.
it's almost Christmas Day.
You better wrap it.
I say wrap it. Wrap it good. I say wrap it. Wrap it good.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is! Sing a sleighing song tonight. Ho, 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 ho. Wrap that gift. Ho, 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 ho.
Hey, this is a snip.
Ho, 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 ho.
Carefully packed.
Ho, 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 ho.
That thing in bubble wrap.
Ho, 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 ho.
Don't get the name tags wrong.
When you wrap it,
You've had it all year long.
it's time to wrap it.
It's almost Hanukkah.
You better wrap it. So wrap it. Use some tape. Tape it up.
Now, if you got any last-minute gifts to wrap, try doing them without singing that song in your head now the rest of the evening, or even next year.
No, right? Makes me want to go to Chipotle and get a wrap.
Chipotle. Get a wrap and wrap it good. Whether chicken or beef, you must wrap it. Do you like that one? Is that a good song, Sergeant?
I think you did. You nailed it on that one.
I thought it went so perfectly with the article too. I'm like, well, that'll fit wonderfully. Let's take a look at the science of gift wrapping, since we're talking about gift wrapping. Let's take a look at the scientific study done about whether or not it matters how nicely it's wrapped. So, let me know when you can see that one. Are you muted up? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. Here we go. They say appearances can be deceiving. In the case of gift giving, they might be right. Consumers in the U.S. spend billions of dollars a year on wrapping gifts, in most cases to make their presents look as good as possible. This includes money spent on paper, boxes, ribbon, and pretty bows. While some people are particularly skilled at gift wrapping, women, with the perfect folds, carefully tied ribbons, and bows, others aren't quite cut out for it, men, and apparently would prefer washing dishes or cleaning the house any day. Two colleagues and I wondered whether all that time and effort is actually worth it. Does a beautiful presentation actually lead to a better liked gift? Or is it the other way around? Sloppy versus neat. In 2019, in a 2019 paper published by the Journal of Consumer Psychology, University of Nevada, Reno, Professors Jessica Rixum and Brett Rixum and I conducted 3 experiments to explore the impact of gift wrapping. In the first experiment, we recruited 180 university students to come to a behavioral lab in Miami to participate in a research study described as an extra credit exercise. Upon arrival, each student was given an actual gift as a token of appreciation for their participation. The gift was a coffee mug with the logo of one of the 2 NBA basketball teams, the local Miami Heat or rival Orlando Magic, handed out at random. We knew that every participant was a fan of the Heat based on a prior survey, and that they explicitly didn't support the Magic. The purpose was to ensure that we were giving half the students a desirable gift, while the other half received something they did not want. Finally, half of the gifts were wrapped neatly, while the rest looked slapdash. After unwrapping, participants evaluated how much they liked their gifts. We found that those who received a sloppily wrapped gift liked their present significantly more than those who received a neatly wrapped gift, regardless of which mug they got. To understand why, we recruited another set of students and asked them to view an image of either a neatly or sloppily wrapped gift and report their expectations about it prior to seeing what was inside. Participants were then told to imagine opening the gift, which for everyone was a pair of JVC earbuds, and rate their actual attitudes toward it, allowing us to compare whether it matched their expectations or not. Results showed that expectations were significantly higher for the neatly wrapped gifts compared with the sloppily wrapped ones. However, after the reveal, participants receiving the neatly wrapped gift reported that it failed to live up to their expectations, while those who got the sloppily wrapped gift said it surpassed their expectations. This suggests that people use the wrapping as a cue to how good the gift will be. Neat wrapped wrapping sets the bar for the gift too high, intimating that it will be a great present. Sloppy wrapping, on the other hand, sets low expectations, boy, I can't read tonight, suggesting it'll be a bad gift. So a sloppily wrapped gift leads to pleasant surprise, while one that's neat looking results in disappointment. Friends versus acquaintances. In our third and final experiment, we wanted to zero in on whether this effort depended on the relationship between the gift giver and the recipient. Doesn't matter if the giver is a close friend or just an acquaintance. We surveyed a nationally representative sample of 261 adults and asked them to imagine being at a party with a secret gift exchange. At random, participants viewed images and imagined receiving either a neatly or sloppily wrapped gift. This time, we instructed half of them to imagine the gift was from a close friend, while the other half believed it came from just an acquaintance. Then we revealed the gift and asked them to rate it. When it came from a close friend, recipients ended up liking the sloppily wrapped gift more, just like in our other experiments. However, when the gift came from an acquaintance, recipients preferred it when it was neatly wrapped. This occurs because these participants use the wrapping as a cue to how much the gift giver values their relationship, rather than to signal what's inside. Neat wrapping implies the giver values their relationship. A pleasant surprise. So, if you're stressing over gift wrapping this holiday season, consider saving yourself time, effort, and money by wrapping your friends' and family's gifts haphazardly. But if you're planning to give a gift to someone you don't know quite as well, a work colleague, for example, it's probably worth it to show you put in some effort to make it look good with all the neat folds, crisp edges, and beautiful bows. I, for one, am taking these results to heart. From now on, I'll only wrap my wife's gifts sloppily, so she'll always be pleasantly surprised, no matter how good or bad the gift is. Interesting article.
I was thinking to myself, if I was to have like a brand new girlfriend, how much thought I would have to put into just how sloppy to make it, just how neat to make it. How much do I want her to have high anticipation versus how much do I want her to think I find her important versus how much do I want her to be um, pleased with the present? I mean, but by the time she realizes it's $5 gift card to McDonald's, I want her to be thrilled.
Yeah, true. That's a tough question because you got to realize if it's a new, hopefully long-term relationship and it's the first gift, you're setting yourself up for that for the rest of your relationship. I mean, if you can show that you can wrap perfectly,
I know.
and then 2 years later you're slapping a paper on something, could be a
Yep.
could be interpreted as a bad cue. So
Yes, it could.
I would just be me and rap as horrible as I rap, and
Yeah. Don't
that
overthink it.
yeah,
That's what I always do wrong. I overthink it.
yeah, no fake, never be fake in a relationship, never be fake, period. But yeah, I would definitely.
Well, it wouldn't be about being fake. It'd be about deciding just to be how much of my emotional side that I'm willing to share, Armor.
Through the rapping.
Yeah, through the interpretive of rapping. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Good thing that we read that article.
I'm telling you. Yeah, now you know.
Yeah. But let's move on. I did find that very interesting. Who would have thought there was so much to think about?
I'm telling you. And it was an interesting study, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
The results were not what I was expecting.
No, but once you actually think about it, it all makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. It is funny how the mind works. And Ray of Sunshine said they always wrap the adults better than the children. true, because you would always have to try to leave a crease or somewhere for the children to get their fingers in, or they'd just be rolling it around and never able to get it open, which is sometimes funny. God bless and Merry Christmas to all, says y'all's Will Soaring. Likewise, my friend. Glad you could join us. It's a Christmas themed special with lots of music and another big long article coming up. But before we get into the article, how about we play another song?
All right, let's do it.
Let's play one for all the hardworking elves out there this Christmas season. Yeah, some elf awareness out there, people. They work hard.
I shared an image real quick. If you want to put it on the screen, Armor, the school sent home a paper telling all the parents to have their kids dress up as elves, and one of the parents misinterpreted the word elves, and they thought that they wrote something else besides elf. I was just curious to see if you could figure out
You know what I gotta
what
say?
what they thought they said.
Hold on, I gotta save it and then open it. Then I can
All right.
share it. Why didn't you open? Told you to open. Oh, I didn't want you to open in that. Well, that'll work maybe. Okay. Now let me back here and present. There you go. You want to read it?
Yeah, it says kids got letter telling them to dress as elves. Someone came as Elvis. Can't effing breathe.
He's
The
styling
kid
the
came.
Elvis too.
Yes, he is. He actually became the center of the show by being the one kid dressed as Elvis.
That's hilarious. Good find. Good. All right. Well, speaking of elves and all the stuff they made over all the many, many years they've been making stuff, why don't we take a look at the holiday gift crazes and fads of the past century, my friend? Century.
100
down.
years.
Try to calm down. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it, but there's no way I could read it.
Oh, I was afraid you'd say that. Oh my. This is a long
So
one, people.
we don't even have to read it. I mean, we'll just skim over it.
Yeah, we can just go down and look at each year. So 1919, the Meccano sets. This predecessor to the Erector set was first produced in the early 1900s, invented by Frank Hornby in the United Kingdom. In 1919, Hornby formed the Meccano Guild to encourage boys of all ages, up to adults, to gather together and get building. See, I had an Erector set when I was little. Did you ever have an Erector set?
Yeah, but it looked nothing like that.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot more stuff. There's a big box full of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed my Erector set. I liked it better than Legos, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You could do way more with the Erector set.
Mm.
So 1919, that was the popular gift. Oh, look there. We got Raggedy Andy, 1920. Wow, it's hard to believe he's that old. And Raggedy Ann is older yet. 1920, Raggedy Ann gained a brother. Cartoonist and illustrator Johnny Gruel began to publish the Raggedy Andy stories to complement Raggedy Ann. And an Andy doll came too. Adults snapped them up so their kids could have a matching Ann and Andy set. I do remember a lot of my female cousins having Raggedy Ann and Andy both. So, yep, that was a thing
Yep.
back in the day.
If you still had one in good condition, you'd be a millionaire probably.
If it was an original, because they still make them, I'm sure. But yeah, if you had an original, yeah, it'd probably be from 1920. Be rough to have one in good condition, unless you actually kept it up and took care of it. Chanel
I remember
number
that
5.
trending. I remember that being cool. Like my mom's and them talking about it, but I never had one.
Yeah, I never.
Chanel
had a
number
regular-
5. I remember that being popular
Yep.
in pop culture as well.
Yep, in 1925, the invention of Chanel number 5 was a game changer in the elite circles of women. Now they could smell fresh and clean all the time. What are they saying? Women stank before that? That's not nice. Thanks to the assistant of Coco Chanel's perfumer, who accidentally
Coco
added a higher
Chanel.
chemical dose to the mixture. Chanel marketed immediately, and it was cleared off the shelves once the holidays came around. What'd you say, bud?
Coco Chanel. I mean, look how dark and thick that is. You imagine the exotic things they put inside it to make it smell so good.
You probably wouldn't want to know, maybe. Could be scary. Sort of like
It'd be-
sausage. Just eat it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
If don't
Just eat.
just stick your arm out. Don't ask what's inside it.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
I know, right?
All right. What do we got next? Oh yeah, this caused many injuries. 1922, the pogo stick was invented in 1919 by Russian immigrant George B. Hansberg, and by 1922, pogo sticks were the most popular outdoor toy for children and adults, and featured prominently in magazine and newspaper ads. And I'll tell you what, them old pogo sticks, man, they were a weapon. Those things were heavy.
Mm-hmm. They were heavy
Big
duty. They
spring.
didn't break either.
Oh no, I never seen a pogo stick break. Rust away, yeah, but break, no. Big springs in them. Those things were, yeah, they were interesting. All right. Oh, 1923, the old chemistry set. In 1923, A.C. Gilbert, the inventor of the Erector set, hey, the same guy that made the Erector set, flexed his edutainment muscles once more and created a toy chemistry set just for boys. Now that ain't nice either. That'll get you banned. It was
Mhm.
instantly popular, owing to
But
parents
it's
dealing.
also armor. It works for girls who identify as boys.
Oh, it's all right then. It's transgender friendly. It was
Yeah.
instantly popular, owing to parents dealing with the Great Depression and wanted promising careers for their children. While most of the set's components were harmless, future iterations had some that could raise eyebrows, including a glass blowing kit that came with a blowtorch. Yep. Yeah, you could get some interesting chemistry sets back in the day. Back in the 60s now, not the 20s, but yeah, by the 60s, you could actually make like little volcanoes and yeah, you could have fun with chemistry sets.
Back then, it would have been wrong to market that toward women. Nowadays, it would be wrong not to include women, especially to give favor to women who identify as a man.
Yeah, what he said, because I don't understand it either. Yeah.
As long
This is
as
back when
straight,
men were men and women were women and boys were boys and girls
Yeah.
were girls, and that's the way it was. And
Yeah.
what a much better time, I must say.
All right, I digress. I'll be quiet.
All right, in 1924, we got the creepy haunted doll. I mean, the Ideal Company produced Flossie Flirt.
I don't remember Flossie Flirt.
Yeah, 1924, launched just in time for Christmas. Ah, see? Commercialization. I told you it started long, long ago. The doll
Yep.
flirted with her eyes, darting them from side to side, winking and blinking. Flossie Flirt was so popular that year that some newspaper published doll lady schedules outlining where and when dealers who sold the doll would be available.
I would assume that their main customer base is young girls, ages 12 to 9, something like that, right?
Well, I'd say even younger, probably. I mean, I know most of my granddaughters, and although my daughters weren't really into dolls a lot, but the the children in my life that were into dolls, I know most of them liked their doll babies, even at like 4, 5, 6. You know,
And what parent isn't going to get their daughter a Flossie Flirt, right?
it's all the craze in 1924.
Exactly.
Well, now here you go. Now I loved my electric train sets. 1925. Electric train sets took over the toy market in 1925 from three companies: Hornby, of the former Meccano fame, American Flyer, and Lionel. The trains were expensive, though. One set cost about an average of a month's salary.
My dad used to take me down to downtown where they set up an extravagant train set at the power company,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'd go there and we'd watch that. But I never had a train set of my own. Did you?
Oh my, yes. Never was able to do like a full 4x8 sheet of plywood and make a like you really wanted to do. At least I always wanted to do like the ones you've seen on display, like you said. 'Cause
Mm,
there's one of those. Well, there's a few of those around even today up at the. Well, I think last year you guys probably. I'm pretty sure I posted a video when I took your grandkids up to the drive-through light show up at the one amusement park every year they have here. And at the end of that drive-through, you can actually go into the gift shop and the little treat shop, and they have a giant room just dedicated to train sets. It's awesome. They have some awesome train displays going. So you always wanted to do that. Was never had enough room to do that, but did have my
yep.
little train set that I would, and Dad had an awesome old Lionel set. Man, I'd love to have got my hands on that when he passed, but it's long gone because that brought a lot of memories. It blew smoke and whistled, and it was the big old Lionel. I mean, the big tracks, not the little HOs they got nowadays. But
Right.
that that was an awesome train. It had a little log car you could unload the logs and coal cars. That was an awesome train. That engine probably weighed 10, 15 pounds. That thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is the real deal. I'm talking this thing was old. It was probably from the 30s or 40s, I'll bet you, because it was old and it was well built. One of my fondest memories as a child was when Dad would set up that train set. We get to blow the whistle and push the smoke button.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
cool stuff. All right, Pooh. Who don't love Pooh? If you don't love Pooh, you can just leave the show right now. I'll tell you straight up. 1926. By the time Winnie the Pooh was published in 26, the bear was already popular, having been made famous by A. A. Milne's poetry and newspaper stories. Winnie and his friends were inspired by a set of stuffed toys Milne's son, Christopher Robin, had received as gifts between 1920 and 1928. You can still visit this stuffed crew at the New York Public Library on 42nd Street. So cool. Good old Winnie the Pooh.
I like the Winnie the Pooh stories, but I don't think I ever had like a teddy bear Winnie the Pooh or carried one around or anything. I never got like pooed out. Like I had poo this or poo that. I just remember enjoying watching the cartoon and reading the stories, but I never really had poo merchandise, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, me neither. Now, my kids and grandkids, I get a lot of Pooh stuff. But yeah, me growing up, I never had Pooh stuff, but I loved the books. And like you said, loved all the shows. But yeah, Pooh rules. Still love the books. My wife actually has like a very, very old copy of an A.A. Milne Winnie the Pooh book, one of the originals. It's
They're
awesome.
really in-depth stories. Some of them are. They're not just like what you think they are. There's some substance to them.
Oh yeah, most of them actually.
You make a whole night of reading it.
Oh yeah, it's a thick book. It's not just a yeah you yeah Winnie the Pooh was a big book. All right, 1920. I remember having one of these. You look down through this hole on the top, like right up here. There's a hole. See my cursor? Can you see my cursor
Yep.
moving? Yeah, that's where you look through. You hold the camera down at your waist. You look through that
Okay.
hole, and that's how you'd take a picture. Now, I ain't
Interesting.
sure it was this type of. I mean, it was this type of camera. I don't know if it was a 1927 Brownie, but it was that type of camera. When the
Right.
Brownie
That type
camera,
of
invented in
technology.
1900 by Kodak, was released, it was the first time the public could enjoy photography as a hobby, thanks to its non-prohibitive price point. Yep, I used to have a couple of those back in the day.
I can see how college students would have them.
Yep, that was basically your first actual homemade portable type camera that anyone could ever own. Oh, Double Bubble, 1928. In the candy world for the 1928 holiday season, everyone wanted Double Bubble. The gum was
All right,
created.
Armor. Let me stop you for a second. Close your eyes and spell double
Okay.
bubble.
Oh, I know the Mandela thing. Yes, been talked about many times. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't say for sure on that one. Although I grew up with Double Bubble. I mean, it don't look wrong to me. Usually a Mandela effect looks wrong or sounds wrong when I hear it. Like if it's a movie line, it'll sound wrong. If it's a product, it'll look wrong. And that just don't look wrong to me.
Right.
So I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think.
I mean, double would look funny. It would be unlined, and
Yep. I
so
think
I
this
don't
is
know.
the case. I
That
think
was
this is
one
the
that
case.
never resonated with me because I just don't know. I just
Yeah.
never paid enough attention to the wrapper. I was getting the gum out. Who cares what it says? It's Double Bubble. I know what it is. So
Yep. Your points are well made, and I agree with you mostly. I think that one could make a case for it, but this isn't your go-to Mandela effect to try to prove it by any stretch of the imagination. See
yeah,
what I
because
did
for me
there?
it ain't. So it definitely isn't one I would use because for me it ain't a Mandela effect, or at least I
No,
don't know. There's
I
nothing I
said
can say. Oh, that's
stretch.
definitely changed.
I, I said stretch of the the stretch. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't blow the show, brother.
All
Stay
right. I'm
focused.
sorry.
Okay, rolling on. Old yo-yos, man. I was into yo-yos. I used to be able to walk the dog, rockabye baby. Yeah, I had to do some yo-yo back in the day, brother. I wasn't as good
Yeah.
as like the Smothers brothers and them guys, but I could definitely do some yo-yo tricks. No one
Kind of
exactly.
reminds me of how Dan learned how to play the harmonica after spending one night in jail.
Yeah, that was good too. I mean, that dude, he's talented. No one knows exactly when the yo-yo was invented, but its first appearance in the U.S. was in 27, when Pedro Flores, an immigrant from the Philippines, started carving and selling them. Yo-yos were a toy from his childhood. By 1929, he had 2 factories in Los Angeles and 1 in Santa Barbara, just to keep up with demand. Huh, interesting. Flores invented the yo-yo. Wooden. Started out as wooden. I think I did have a wooden butterfly yo-yo once. They were called butterfly because they were the wider. Yo-yos,
Right.
you know what I mean. But
I was just mediocre at the yo-yo. I never really gave it that much of an effort to get good at it. I mean, I could do a few tricks here and there. I remember, but I lost interest early. I
yeah, I
could.
was into yo-yos. But, as everyone knows, as I've said many times, I was a loner. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do much. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Things you could do by yourself, yes. I mastered playing my organ. I could do some yo-yo tricks, erector set. Yeah, good at that stuff. Oh, look at that. Cute as a button little girl and her creepy dolls. And Mickey, 1930. The first stuffed Mickey Mouse doll was commissioned by Disney in 1930 and created by a woman named Charlotte Clark. Mickey had already been around for 2 years, and his popularity was still increasing. The dolls were instantly popular. One of my best friends loves Mickey stuff. That's the one me and my wife and her husband and me, her husband passed away. He was one of my best friends. We took our trip down south and went to Disney World because she always wanted to go, and they invited us along. That's when we went to Texas. It's an awesome trip, but took our bikes and everything. But so yeah,
My
she's big
mom-
into Mickey Mouse.
My mom's mom really liked Mickey Mouse. She said she had the same birth date as Mickey Mouse. I never verified that to be true or false, but I know she was born about that time frame, 1930.
Well,
So,
Mickey Mouse was actually born like in 28, I think. It's like when the cartoons, like Steamboat Willie, and
right. I don't know her exact year or
that
date.
would
I just
probably be
know it
about
was
right.
around that time, yeah. And also she said that a couple times she wrote in for president Mickey Mouse. That was a thing that people
Yeah.
did.
That definitely was a thing. Yep. I may have actually done that myself once or twice back in the day. Just for giggles. All right, what else do we got? Oh man, the old radio flyer wagon. Absolutely. What a lot of fun with that. The American Flyer Wagon, produced by the Liberty Coaster Company in Chicago, is the original radio flyer wagon. The company changed its name to Radio Steel and Manufacturing in 1930 and changed the wagon name the same year. By the end of 1930, the company was making 1,500 wagons a day to supply the craze taking over the country for gifts the following year. Yep, every child had to have a little wagon, man. Once you had a wagon, you could go places and take your friends with you. Like that little guy got his little buddy. I believe that might be
Oh,
a
yeah.
monkey or something there. You could take your dog for rides. You could have your dog take you for rides. Man, wagons were just a wonderful thing.
Yep.
And I can't see the chat, so I hope you're keeping an eye on the chat. See if they got.
Oh,
any-
now you tell me.
Well, you know I can't see the chat when I'm sharing my
Yeah.
screen.
I'm just messing with you. Nope,
Any of
just
these
talking
bringing-
about stuff we're saying.
Bringing back memories to any of them, any of this old stuff. I know most of them ain't as old as me, but I ain't even 1930s, but I still remember this stuff as a kid growing up.
They're a little bit behind. They said it should have had a different name beside a Rector set said Santa Van Claus, Go Kart Bob. Oh yes, trains and cars
You know, racetracks.
and
Surely
slot
we'll get
cars.
to some of
I'm
those.
sorry.
Slot car racing was awesome. That was definitely popular in the early 70s because
That's what I was into. Yeah.
love slot car racing. Okay, let's scroll on, see what we got. Oh, not this creepy sock monkey. This thing is still popular, and I never did
My
understand.
mom had one of those.
Not allowed in my home. Never. It's like liver and sock monkeys. Neither one's allowed in my home. Another Illinois company, the Nelson Knitting Company, based in Rockford, began producing the distinctive red-heeled sock that became the typical sock monkey in 1932. Money was often tight due to the ongoing depression, and mothers would sew the worn-out socks into monkey toys for their children. Soon a sock monkey pattern came with every pair of socks. So yeah, now a homemade sock monkey for mom, that might be one thing, but go out and buy these creepy, they're just, I don't know, sock monkeys creep me out.
I can see how someone would think they're creepy. So I'm with you on that. And the thought never crossed my mind though until you mentioned it.
I don't know, something about them just always, I never wanted one of those.
I would never
bought
want one.
Children, never. Nope.
But I wouldn't think they're scary or creepy either. normally. I would just think
I don't
nothing
think
of
it's
it.
scary. It's just creepy. Just something creepy. I don't know. Just feeling. I don't like it. All right. Oh, the Sears catalog. Man, we looked forward to getting the Sears catalog.
Man,
There
was
was a
that
big
thing
fan.
thick or what?
What's that?
Was that thing thick or what?
Oh man, yeah, that was like huge. And you could just go through and think
Mm-hmm.
of all the awesome things you could get, which you never did, but it was
Yeah.
just fun at all the new toys. And so this trend wasn't so much a toy as it was a printed catalog of toys. The Sears Christmas book, a staple for holiday shopping, showed everything anyone could want to buy someone for Christmas. The first
Mm-hmm.
one in 1933 was only 87 pages. By 1968, now this is my day, it was 608 pages. Yeah, it was a book.
Wow.
Here's a catalog. Good old Sears catalog.
You could look at
Those
that
are,
thing for hours.
oh, yeah, months. I mean, you could just, all right. Buck Rogers, the first science fiction comic strip ever. Buck Rogers in the 25th century AD. Premiered in January 1929. It was a daily strip which was turned into a color Sunday edition in 1930 and then a radio show in 1932. In 1934, the first Buck Rogers replica toy ray gun debuted. It sold for 50 cents and made a pop sound, or I mean a sound when fired. Yep, the old Buck Rogers.
Santa Von Claus says, "What is Sears?" Do you think he's trolling us?
He would have to be trolling us. And it says on the tag, Disintegrator, Buck Rogers 25th century, with 800,000 Buck Rogers pistols added to BB gun sales. The company went over the $1 million sales mark in 1934. Retail
Wow.
price 50 cents. Made by Daisy. Wow. So imagine 50 cents a piece. They went over $1 million in sales in 34. That's a lot of guns.
Mm-hmm. That's
50
2
cents.
million guns.
Yeah. In 1934. Wow.
Yeah. Talk about get rich quick.
Yeah. All right. Canned beer. Here you go. This year, the first canned beer hit the market in Richmond, Virginia from Gottfried Kruger Brewery. It was so popular that 37 more breweries were selling canned beer by the end of the year, and more than 200 million cans were sold. That's a lot of beer, more than the guns.
Yeah. Well, that is a more of a mainstay. It's sure to stick around.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's the perfect time for us to play another song. What do you think?
well, I was going to get to the end of the 30s.
Okay.
So, good old Monopoly. Still got a Monopoly game in the closet. I actually got a Steelers Monopoly game someone got me for Christmas one year. Still in
Isn't
its
that
box.
amazing how it's got so many different themes? I mean, it's you name it. There's a Monopoly theme for it.
Oh, absolutely. We got what's called Racetown Lake here. It's just a popular man-made lake that was built back in the 70s, and all the tourists come every year and ruin my life. But anyhow, we got this big popular lake called Lake Racetown, and little Huntington County. If you look it up on the map, this place ain't huge. You know what I mean? By any means. But in Walmart every year in the summer, there's Racetown Lake Monopoly and Huntington County Monopoly. So even
I
this
could make
small little
I could make Mandela Effect Monopoly, and that's what I'm going to
there
do.
you go.
Yeah.
But in 1935, Parker Brothers started selling the real estate game Monopoly. However, the idea for the game was
I
stolen.
could have swear that I've been on this space before. In my reality, I own Park Place.
Well, I own Boardwalk, so I'll trade you Tennessee, States, and St. Joseph for Park Place.
So it's a deal, but you have to throw in your utilities.
No, I ain't getting rid of my utility or my railroad. They're off the table. But anyhow, on January 28th, 1936, the game's actual creator, Lizzie Magie, called out the thievery on the front page of the Washington Post, which only served to promote the game further. So even back then, the old Parker brothers were slicking some poor lady for her Monopoly game she invented. And look at what they've
Imagine
made
that.
up of it. Interesting. All right, we're almost to the 40s, and then we'll hear a song. Oh, yeah, look at this. The old metal pedal cars. Man, you had one of them, you'd be talking a fortune for sure. Because they still have a few. You can find a few of the metal pedal tractors and stuff from the 70s and 80s, and they're even worth big bucks. But I remember these old pedal cars, man. They rust away, though.
Look, you got a picture of Go-Kart Bob as a child.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yep, there he is. Between the 1920s and 40s, pedal cars were enjoying a seemingly never-ending heyday. The design of the pedal cars matched the changing full-size auto industry. Some company catalogs had up to 30 pedal car models. Yeah, they were the thing. They were cool.
I want to thank Go-Kart Bob for sending that picture in. That was really nice of him.
Yeah, he made the cut. That's awesome. All right, good old comics. Used to really be into my comics, too. Superheroes in pop culture can largely be traced back to Action Comics #1 in 1938, the first introduction of Superman. Only 200,000 copies were printed that first year, but it sold so well that the creators quickly obtained a spin-off comic of their own. Again, you had one of those, big bucks, the original 1938 Action comic. Oh yeah, the little green plastic soldiers, little green army men.
Which one? That was one of my favorite things. The
Yep,
little green
this and,
army man. I
this
like
and the Fort Apache. I used to have the Fort Apache too, which was the Indians and the Cowboys.
see the guy there squatted down with his gun aimed. That was one of my favorites. The guy throwing the grenade. I love that
Yep, the
guy.
Grenader. Yep.
Yep.
Grenader, yep. And then the
And then the
parachute
guy.
guys. Did you have the parachute guys?
Yes.
With the real parachute, little plastic parachute? They're all mine.
Yes.
Yep.
And then the guy laying prone, you could lay like 10 of
Yep.
them across a stick, and then nothing's getting past those guys.
And nothing's penetrating that line.
Nope.
Yep. These little plastic toy soldiers were first produced in 1938. And what timing! When World War II began in 39, the popularity of the toys took off. Today we can find them in all sorts of poses, including yoga. Well, isn't that just wonderful? Even corrupted to little green army men now. Gee, thanks for sharing that tidbit of information with me. That really made my Christmas Eve special. All right, moving on. Bubbles. Who don't love bubbles? Oh, wait, that's 1940. Well, we'll do it, and then we'll do a song. No blowing soap bubbles wasn't invented in 1940, but the practice became widely popular that year thanks to the company in Chicago that began to bottle its own solution. Yeah, who don't love bubbles? Even to this day, when we have a cookout stuff or a birthday party, we always supply bubbles for the kids.
You can do it anytime you want with home dishwashing fluid and a bottle of water. It isn't that hard.
Yep. All right, well, we'll pick up at 1941, but first, let's see. Let's have another song to remind us of the true reason. there you go, a little piano instrumental. That's William Kirkpatrick. A Win a Manger, in case you didn't recognize it for some strange reason. Sadie, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let's roll on. 1941. 4 years before World War II had even ended, Captain America's first appearance showed him punching Hitler on the cover of the comic book. It was controversial, which helped sales. The comic flew off the shelves as fast as it arrived.
That's the first I ever heard of that particular comic book.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of that before?
Captain America's comic book? Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Not that old, but yeah.
right.
He was still around in my day when I was doing comics.
I would have thought it would have been Superman instead of Captain America as the first big breakout.
Well, he was. That was a couple years ago. Superman was 38.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Captain America, 41. Winky Dink, a little golden book. Oh man, used to have lots of little golden books. Before 1942, books for kids were high quality but way too expensive. Little golden books changed that, selling for only a quarter at accessible locations. The first year, hundreds of thousands sold. And through the holiday season into February the next year, more than 1.5 million were in print. Good old little golden books. Chutes and Ladders. Classic. Chutes and Ladders, introduced by Milton Bradley in 1943, was based on an English game from India called Snakes and Ladders. It was an immediate success and stayed popular for several generations. Yep, even my grandkids have played Chutes and Ladders, so been going strong for many decades.
I guess they thought snakes were just a little bit too bold, and we'll just use chutes instead.
Yeah, who wants to be sliding down snakes anyway? Them people in India are a strange group.
Yeah.
All right, the old Dick Tracy detective kit. Beloved detective character first showed up in 1931, but gained popularity in 1944, thanks to the resurgence of the radio show the year prior. In 1944, the hot toy was a Dick Tracy detective kit, complete with a manual, suspect information, a badge, a decoder, and more. Oh, yeah, the old secret decoder rings.
Yep, that's where it all stems from, isn't it?
Yep.
No,
Oh,
I
yes,
can see.
Pinky.
I would have wanted that if I was if I wasn't born yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we still had decoder rings and stuff in my day that, yeah, always enjoyed. And the invisible ink and all kind of cool stuff. And Slinky, of course. Love Slinky. Again, something you can do by yourself. Hours of entertainment. Of course, nowadays, kids would look at it and say, you want me to do what?
And it's really hard to get it to walk down the steps unless they're perfectly spaced. Just saying.
Yeah, you got to definitely have the right spacing and the right, start it from the right spot. Another year, another toy created by accident. Richard James, a mechanical engineer, was designing springs when he knocked one over and saw how it walked down the shelf. The Slinky wasn't immediately popular when it was first released, but became wildly desired after a 1945 Christmas time demonstration of the toy in a Philadelphia department store. And yes, I think everyone had a Slinky growing up. And even my children had some Slinkies, but they became plastic and definitely didn't work like they used to. You need to
Fun for a girl and a boy. Just saying.
Yeah. Yep. Wonderful, wonderful toy. Oh, Tupperware. Wives and mothers everywhere rejoiced with the invention of Tupperware bowls. They were airtight, watertight, and durable. And with the new proliferation of home refrigerators, they made storage simple. Oh, the electric football. I had this. I definitely had me the electric football game. Those things were just stupid, but but messed with it nonetheless. You get the kicker to kick the little foamy ball. Yeah, they were something. Electric football isn't a game of skill. That's true, unless you count the patience you need to ignore that awful buzzing noise. Exactly. Of players floating across a vibrating football field of skill. This toy, created in 1947, was a favorite to play with on Christmas morning. Yeah, that's it. The whole thing would just.
I'm surprised kids didn't get shocked by it.
Yeah, well, it was just vibrating to make. That's how they moved. It was stupid. They'd just go crooked.
Gotcha.
And you'd have this little thing on the bottom you could supposedly move to make them go right or left and
I
straight.
see.
Yeah, it was. I got to admit, though, I spent hours and hours playing with that silly thing. But you know what these were? You had your little plastic goalpost you'd stick in. Then you had a little guy, like I said, his leg actually kicked. You'd push a button and his leg would kick, and you'd sit the little
Okay.
football there and kick off or go for a field goal. Yeah, it was something. The old electric.
Well, Bear Lamb has decided to join us, by the way.
Oh, welcome, Bear Lamb. I hope your meal and Christmas evening celebration is going well, or Christmas celebration for you is going well.
He says German slinkies are made out of stronger metal and don't move because they're very stiff.
That's true. They don't walk down the stairs; they just guard them.
Yeah.
Yeah, these crazy things bringing back lots of memories, though. I give you that.
And I doubted that he was truly a comedian. I can't believe I ever doubted him.
Yeah, how could you doubt that? Crystal radios were some of the first radios that grabbed a signal from broadcasting stations and played the sound through amplifiers. They were popular in the 20s and 30s, but faded out except in the form of toys. The Tiny Time radio was manufactured in 1948 and became immediately popular. Yep, they were just little bitty radios.
Itty bitty
Actually
ones.
worked. Yeah, they were probably only like a couple inches.
Yep, before the iPod, before the Walkman, there was
Yeah, the Tiny Time radio.
Tiny Time radio.
Old Silly Putty. Now there you go. Definitely used to play a lot with Silly Putty. You'd love it when the Sunday comics come out because they were in color, and then you could get color Silly Putty comics. But Silly Putty was accidentally created when an engineer tried to develop synthetic rubber in 1943. No one had a use for it, though, until 1949, when toy store owner Ruth Faugatter decided to sell it in her catalog. It outsold almost everything in the catalog that year. Silly Putty was some fun stuff, man.
Yeah, it
You
was.
could transfer anything, practically. I used to use it in my comic books, and like I said, the Sunday papers were awesome. Oh, the Magic 8 Ball. The fortune-telling pool ball we all loved didn't start it as a ball at all. It was a tube created by a psychic's son. The invention was picked up by Abe Bookman, brother-in-law to a shop owner in Cincinnati, who eventually shaped it like a crystal ball. In 1950, Brunswick Billiards wanted to use the item as a giveaway and turned it into an 8-ball, and it gained immediate popularity. The toy was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame in 2018. Who hasn't messed with a Magic 8-ball or ever at least seen one and played with it a little bit?
Right.
Do you have a Magic
I always
8-ball?
wondered how they came out with an 8-ball versus a crystal ball or an orb or something. You know, I always wondered how that correlation took place. So now I know. It was a billiard company.
1950.
Yeah.
Brunswick Billiards. That's one of the biggest billiard companies still to this day, I believe. Brunswick.
Yeah.
Top of the line. All right. So, yeah, that was 1950. Up the old Viewmaster, actually, as we was cleaning up around here, found a couple of my old Viewmasters from when I was a kid still in one of the closets with a few of the slides. So
There you go.
pretty cool.
Talk about nostalgia.
Yeah. The Viewmaster was originally designed to be a way to look at scenic photography from around the world. It was launched in 1939 at the New York World's Fair and became marginally popular. But sales skyrocketed in 1951 when the disc started showing images from Disney movies. So, yep, I used to have Jungle Book, Viewmaster ones, and
Hmm.
lots of Disney ones, lots of scenic places. Like you could look at Arizona and the Grand Canyon and stuff like that. They were cool as a kid. But again,
Let's see
nowadays
where.
kids wouldn't even want one.
No, it would be boring
Yep.
compared to a tablet.
Yep, I definitely got a very old original one of them back here in the closet with some disc. Still in its box, if I remember correctly. Of course, Mr. Potato Head definitely had a Mr. Potato Head. When the first Mr. Potato Head was introduced, there was no body included. It was a bring your own potato toy of wacky face components. It was the first toy to have an actual commercial, which contributed to making it over 4 million in sales in the first few months after its launch in 1952. Yeah, see, the original was the dude on the right there. You used your own potato, and then you could stick it on a body and feet and ears and hats. And then they came out with the plastic potato body to go with it. But
Hmm.
oh yeah,
Spud, do you
Matchbox.
think? Spud, do you think about that?
I don't know. It's appealing. It's appealing.
Yeah.
My wife just looked at me and shook her head. Can you like that one, hon? I thought that was good.
That was groovy, man. Groovy.
Now here's something. I used to buy a new Matchbox car every week for probably a decade at least, and sometimes 2 or 3 a week. I used to
Oh,
have
wow.
an awesome Matchbox car collection. I'd have the double-sided case. I had like 2 or 3 of those full, single cases full.
Just when you think you know somebody, you
But
find
if I
out.
still had them, I would be a very rich man because some of them go for incredible money, and I've had them. I look at the ones going for big bucks. I'm like, yep, I had that one. I had that one. But when I went into service, well, my aunt and uncle that raised me, who I'm taking care of now, my uncle, decided my little brothers could have all my toys, and they destroyed everything. I mean, I guarantee you I had hundreds and hundreds of friggin' original Matchbox cars from the
Yep.
late 60s, early 70s, and even into the 80s. So yeah, it still bums me out every time I think about my Matchbox car collection because it was wow. Especially when I see, oh, that ambulance is worth $3,000. Yeah, I had one of those, pristine condition because I took care of my stuff. But I digress. Those are memories best forgotten. Oh, the old waffle ball and bat. Or wiffle, I mean, waffle. The wiffle ball inventor, Dave, I must be getting hungry. The wiffle ball inventor, David Mullany, was a father just looking for a safer way for his son to play baseball and not break any neighbor's windows. He used old perfume packing to create the original ball. By 1954, Mullany had filed a patent, incorporated a company, and began marketing in earnest, which caught the attention of Woolworth stores, leading to its eventual sales. Woolworth is where I bought most of my Matchbox cars. As a matter of fact, there's a big Woolworth store in Lancaster. And you go downstairs, that's where the toys were, and they had awesome Matchbox collect cars, and they always
And I'll
came.
tell you what, you get redlined by a wiffle ball after somebody line drives it straight at your face. It stings a little bit. You're going to know it happened. It'll wake you up in the morning.
Oh yeah, it definitely might leave a welt, but it ain't gonna break your jaw.
No, you won't need medical attention more
No.
than just shake it off and get ready for the next one.
Yeah. Maybe a hug from Mom.
Yeah.
Gumby and Pokey. Man, I loved Gumby and Pokey growing up. Never missed an episode. And had many Gumby and Pokey characters growing up. Stretchable ones and all kind of cool. Bendable. In
Now,
1953,
I would assume that this toy was 10 times funner to play with if you were high.
I don't know. I was just a kid, so I wasn't high then.
Okay.
In
It just seems like
1953,
the kind of toy that would be like, yeah, I mean, it's cool and everything, but you should try playing it while you're high.
in 1953, animator Art Clokey debuted Gumby in a short film. Bigwigs at television companies loved the idea and gave Clokey his own show, The Gumby Show. Yup. Gumby toys came out in 1955 and shared the same immediate success.
Same goes for the show. I mean, yeah, sure, it's funny, everything, but have you tried watching it while you were high?
Oh, Pez. Used to collect these too. Had lots of Pez's in my day. Pez candy dates back to the 20s, but the dispensers were invented in the 50s. In 1956, Pez debuted the Space Gun. The following year, the company added a 3D character head on top, cementing its place in pop history. Yep.
I remember those. I never was much into them. I
Right.
remember I had friends that had them and collected them.
Yeah, I had lots of them.
I thought they were neat for a minute, but I don't know, just never really captured my interest.
I like the candy. Good old Frisbee. By the time Frisbees were released in 1957, the flying disc had been around for nearly 90 years. It started as a Frisbee, the empty pie tin from Frisbee Baking Company in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The craze took over nationally when Wham-O created the first iconic plastic disc. Yep, I had Wham-O Frisbees. Wham-O made a lot of stuff when I was growing up.
Hmm.
I think they made the red thing you could use to make blocks to build your snow forts out of. I think they made the red thing you could stick in the snow and then use it to throw like snowballs. I think
Gotcha.
they made them little plastic red skis that I tried to kill myself on and never wore again. Wham-O made a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm thankful for the Frisbee. I was really good at Frisbee.
Yeah, and who still don't love to throw a frisbee once in a while? If it's you're at a picnic and one starts being thrown, you're in, you know.
Yeah, for
Another
sure.
Wham-O toy, the hula hoop, was meant to capture the essence of Chinese acrobats spinning hoops on their limbs. Within the first few months of the hoop's release in 1958, more than 25 million were sold. Yep, the old hula hoops. All right, all the girls out there.
I never had a hula hoop. Did you ever have a hula hoop, Armor?
I mean, I've had them. I don't know if I ever owned one, but I mean, I've been around where they are and have tried them and used them. I think I've
Yeah,
got
yeah, I've tried them before. I'm no good at it. I'm terrible. I can do it with my arm better than my hips. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. The arm is much easier, and the necks. I can do the neck better than the hips too. But anyhow, moving on.
All right.
Good old Barbie, 1959. When the first Barbie was introduced at the New York Toy Fair in '59, the audience was skeptical. But one should never underestimate the appeal of a fashion doll. 300,000 Barbies sold in the first year. And look at her now. At least look at her when I was growing up. Barbie was every girl I know had Barbies and clothes and even my one granddaughter loves her Barbie stuff. And you got the cars and the campers and the pools and yeah, Barbie definitely was and still is pretty popular. Etch a Sketch, loved my Etch a Sketch. Definitely had them. The original Etch-a-Sketch, introduced at a toy fair in Nuremberg, Germany in '59, wasn't too popular when it launched, but it caught the eye of an Ohio company which bought the product and saturated televisions with ads for the toy. It became a must-have for Christmas in 1960 and was so
I'm sorry, but
popular.
nobody's drawing that on their Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, you'd have to be good. Became a must-have for Christmas in '60 and was so popular that the factory had to work until noon on Christmas Eve to fill all the orders. Yeah, you'd have to be really good to draw that on your Etch-a-Sketch.
I'd say. You may I see some chat in there. Bear Lamb was saying some stuff, and Go Kart Bob talking about the frisbee golf. Have you ever played frisbee golf, Armor?
No, I've seen where they play it when I've been out geocaching and stuff, but no, I've never played it.
It's fun. You have to get a special kind of disc though. So it's, I mean, you can use a regular frisbee.
I've never even seen it played, so I don't know. But I've seen the things that catch it, I guess. The golf course, I guess you would call
Yeah.
it. Ours goes through the woods, the ones I've seen. But
Yeah, it's like a metal cage, like chains hanging at a 45-degree angle, coming into a like a metal base for it to collect it, the frisbee.
yeah,
But it's fun, but it's one of those things where, like, unless you know people that are already doing it, it's more fun to do with a group of people than it is by yourself, I guess. What I'm trying to say. Like, I would never want to go play frisbee golf by myself.
yeah. Like
So
I
if
said,
I
I've
had it,
never seen it played or tried it, so I don't know if I'd like it or not. But I like the areas they seem to play it in because that's where we usually go geocaching or hiking. And it's like, oh, at least they go out in nature, so that's a plus. Get them outside.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. But yeah, I've never even actually ever seen it played or how it works or anything about it.
just like any other golf course or putt, it's a par something, 3, 4, 5 usually, and you have that many throws to try to get it in the cage.
Yeah.
The fewer amount of throws, the better your score.
I figured it was something like that because I would see the cages. In fact, the first time it took us a while to figure out what we was even looking at. It's like, why are these all in the woods? You know what I mean? And then I realized there was a mark like back here. That must be where you putt from or whatever you call it. It must be where you throw from. So yeah, it took us a while to figure out what we was even looking at the first time. But
Some of the worst throws are like 10 feet away. It's so hard to get that perfect where at 25-foot throw, you could nail it every time. But 12 feet away is like impossible.
that's interesting.
Because it wants to bend, turn, or curve. You can't really give it enough zing, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're up to 1960, so I say let's hear another song before we move on, shall we?
All right, let's do it.
Hope you all enjoyed that. Another one of my favorite old Christmas songs. But let's move on. 1961. We're getting up almost to the year I was born. Almost. Oh,
I mean, you haven't
Kathy.
you haven't met Colonel Troutman yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Powered by a phonograph record in her belly, Chatty Cathy spoke 11 different phrases. She appeared in television commercials starting in 1960, and by 1961, she was the second most popular doll in the U.S., right behind Barbie. So yes, Chatty Cathy had an actual record player in her belly.
Now it's Staring Karen.
Yeah. Has a megaphone.
Yeah. That's funny.
All right, 62. The famous Legos. After several iterations, the modern version of the Lego block was introduced in 1958. But it was a static toy, and although it was already popular, it gained even more fans when the Lego wheel debuted in 1962. Yep, once again, the wheel changed everything. All right, 1963, the year of my birth. And the most popular item that year was an Easy Bake Oven. With a tiny light bulb, kids could bake brownies and cakes once Hasbro released the Easy Bake Oven in 1963. It debuted, of course, just in time for Christmas Rush and has been a favorite of young bakers ever since.
I wonder how many house fires have been caused by them.
I don't know if they could. It's only a light bulb. I mean, they get short out, I'm sure, and cause a fire, but
Yeah.
yeah. And they are still popular. I remember buying one for my daughter. So. And they're
Yep.
still basically the same thing. It's a little light bulb and yep, the old Easy Bake Oven. Definitely popular when I was growing up.
It
G.I.
was. I
Joe.
remember thinking they were cool.
Yeah. G.I. Joe. Barbie was queen of dolls in the 60s, dominating sales. A marketing agent in New York, Stanley Weston, wanted to give boys the same joy of having a doll and developed the G.I. Joe action figure. Hasbro invested and started to sell it in 1964. More than 16 million G.I. Joe action figures were sold by the end of that first year. Oh yeah, Tonka trucks. Now I had Tonka truck, I had the dump truck, I had the grader, I had the backhoe, I had lots of Tonka stuff. They were
If
made
it
of good
didn't say
metal back then.
Tonka, if it didn't say Tonka, it wasn't real. Like bone breaking action type should say that. You know,
Yeah,
if it didn't say Tonka, it is not real.
that's right. Nowadays, Tonka trucks I noticed are made out of plastic. I'm like, are you kidding me? That was the point of the Tonka truck. They were tough. You could roll them off a mountain. But
Hmm.
anyhow, Tonka
Your
trucks were
dad could
invented.
run over it with his F-250 and it'd still be okay.
Ah, well, might not roll the same. Might be a little lopsided.
Maybe.
It'd probably still be in one piece,
Yeah.
just a flatter piece. But Tonka trucks were invented by three people in Minnesota who originally wanted to make garden tools, but started making toy trucks after receiving a toy steam shovel. Yep, I had the steam shovel. The dump truck was released in 65 and became an instant bestseller, where it remained for the next 35 years. Yep, you couldn't beat a good Tonka truck, I'm telling you. Not if you was a boy and like to play in the dirt and mud. Yeah. Wow, now this one I find hard to believe. The original troll dolls, invented by Danish woodworker Thomas Dam, were much creepier. They were made of wood and had wool hair and glass eyes. By 1959, the dolls were produced in a small factory using PVC plastic. The trolls gained popularity and held on to it throughout the next decade, with teens collecting them and hosting bring your own troll parties. Now, see,
What?
this to me would be a Mandela effect. But I
Yeah.
was only 3 at the time, so I can't say for sure. But in all my life, I never knew anyone growing up until my daughters and granddaughters, when the troll movies became popular, that had or ever heard of a troll doll or had a troll bring your own troll party ever. So
Me neither.
that's pretty weird. And it's 1966, just saying. But anyhow, rolling on. But yeah, that one, I mean, all these I've resonated with highly, remember from growing up. But that, I've never heard of such a thing growing up.
I'm right there with you.
Oh, the old Barrel of Monkeys. I used to have this game. Used to play it a lot too. Barrel of Monkeys, the game of linking red, S-shaped plastic monkeys into a long chain. Originated when Leonard Marks was waiting at a shop counter playing with snow tire replacement chain links. By 1967, Barrel of Monkeys was number 2 on the hit toy charts.
Barrel of monkeys. You'll have a barrel of fun, Armor.
Yep, you'd have a barrel of fun with your Barrel of Monkeys. And it wasn't easy to do once you started getting a longer chain.
Mm-mm.
Oh, back to reminding me of my Hot Wheels. And yes, I probably had about every one of those. I would almost guarantee it. Hot Wheels was one of Matchbox's direct competitors. Though Matchbox focused on size and Hot Wheels tricked out its cars, the first line released in '68, the Sweet 16, instantly took over all the competition in the die-cast car industry. So yeah, Matchbox were your like replicas. You get your cool old actual cars. And Hot Wheels, yeah, they were your wild, awesome, tricked out cars. So you had a lot of both. "1969, Flatsy. Again, I wasn't a girl. I was 6, but I never heard of Flatsies. If you
No.
combine a paper doll and a Barbie, you get a Flatsy. A flat doll with hair, changeable clothes, and accessories. Ideal Toy Company released them in 1969, and they were immediately popular. Flatsy dolls became collector's items the very next year. Flatsy. Interesting.
No, I'm gonna have to pass on Miss Flatsy.
Yep, never heard of a Flatsy. Nerf, definitely heard of Nerf. By 1970, Parker Brothers' New Kids Everywhere were tired of being told they couldn't play ball in the house. So the company released a ball specifically to be played inside. Nerf, a soft foam ball that wouldn't hurt a thing if it smashed into it. By the end of the first year, more than 4 million were sold.
If you threw one of those across the room right now, would your dog attack it?
Oh, yeah, he loves chasing balls. He loves chasing anything. But yeah, I would say odds are good that he would. Oh, the old Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. I remember these guys too.
I had
We all-
those. I had some of those.
Oh yeah, I had some Weebles. We all know the tagline: Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. The little
Yep.
wobbling egg-shaped people were introduced in '71, based on the punching clown from the show Romper Room. The dolls gained immediate success. I used to always watch Romper Room, and I had a couple punching clowns growing up.
Well, look at you, Mr. Punching Clowns guy.
And I always wait to see if she'd see me in the magic mirror, but she never did. Every week, I just hoped and hoped.
Aw.
Never seen me. Yep, had this camera also. Polaroid, an already established company, took a giant leap forward in '72 when it released the Polaroid Instant Camera. Legend says the co-founder's daughter was the inspiration. She wondered why she couldn't see vacation photos immediately after they were snapped. The camera was the cover story for Life magazine just before Christmas that year, boosting sales.
The last year or the year before, Armor, Kodak officially stopped making film for the Polaroid camera. Black market companies, if they want to, can make it. If you own a Polaroid camera, it's getting harder and harder to find film for it.
I would imagine. I'm surprised you even still could. I didn't even know that, but yeah. Yep, had Polaroid cameras in my day. Always waving the picture, trying to get it to develop faster. Baby Alive, I definitely remember Baby Alive. '73 was a huge year for lifelike dolls that year. Baby Alive was introduced and dominated the market. Had a mechanical mouth that chewed up food from packets, which it then disposed of in its diaper.
Gross.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
little
no,
guys.
you can't have that doll. Let's just look at one of the normal ones, okay? You don't need that.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you start you start going to the bathroom yourself, then you can have you can change a baby diaper. No,
All
that's
right.
a
Well,
big
after the
no.
baby alive, I'd say we need another song. Let's do another song, shall we?
Okay.
It's about the big guy. The red of the big guy in the sky.
Self control, Santa Claus. Self control to Santa Claus. Set the eggnog down and put your mittens on. Self control to Santa Claus. Christmas countdown flight is on. Check your reindeer, Mrs. Claus says she loves you.
We've got toys to deliver. Now dash away, dash away, dash away.
This is elf control to Santa Claus. You have the toys we made, and the children want to know if you're on your way. Now it's time to land on rooftops if you dare. This is Santa Claus to elf control. My reindeer's gone astray. Sitting on the moon. Rudolph's nose is blue, but there's still more work to do. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Though I've flown 100,000 miles, I'm feeling merry still. And I think my reindeer know which way to go. Tell Mrs. Claus I love her cherry nose. Elf control to Santa Claus, your cell phone's dead. We dropped the call. Can you hear me, Santa Claus? Can you hear us, Santa Claus? Can you hear us, Santa Claus? Can you hear? I am flying over Cleveland. Next is Kathmandu. A quick stop in Peru, then I'm coming home to you. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho.
You know, the elves just don't get enough credit for what all they had to do. Make all that stuff, then elf control. And Deborah O'Connor, very good evening to you too, sister. Good to see you this evening. I'm hoping you're having a blessed Christmas Eve. And we got lots more songs to do. So, yeah. What'd you think of elf control, Saji?
Major Tom was definitely in control.
That's right. All right, well, let's move on. 74, the Magna Doodle. I remember these also.
Yeah, those are a
1974.
little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit. You actually had a pen type thing instead of just trying to turn knobs. In 1974, a new type of chalkboard was invented, one without chalk and without dust, the Magna Doodle. It was very similar to the Etch-a-Sketch, just newer and sold millions since its introduction. Yep. Any of you out there had a Magna Doodle? I remember those. Oh, yes, the old pet rock was originally meant as a joke, a pet that didn't need any care, which seemed to resonate incredibly well with the ethos of self-indulgent mid-1970s. It cost $3.95 and 75 and took over the country that year with more than 1 million units sold. And I remember that actual little orange box contains one original pedigreed pet rock, had holes in it so it can breathe. I remember that. That's hilarious. You ever have a pet rock, Sedgy?
I remember the box just like you described it, and one shown here, and I thought it was the weirdest thing. I didn't understand it. I thought people done lost their minds. That's when I knew that, like, I guess in my mind, back looking back at it now, that people were influenced by pop culture, that it had a stronghold on the community, because nobody in their right mind would want this, but they all wanted it.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me. I thought they'd lost their mind. It was like when the
Oh,
Thriller video came out and everybody in the living room, even Grandpa standing there watching it. People who never watch MTV one day in their life come watch the Thriller video on MTV.
yeah. Yeah, very true. It really was a major deal. Excuse me. I need a drink of water. All right. It looks like I believe this is the Paddington Bear, if I remember correctly. Yep. 1976. A bear called Paddington was first introduced to the world in 1958 through a children's book. The bear himself, in a stuffed animal version, followed in 72, and in 75, the toy was given a green light in the U.S. market. It took off and spawned a television series in 1976. Thoughts on Paddington?
I wasn't a big fan.
Nah, me neither. Definitely wasn't a poo. Oh, slime. Man, my granddaughters love slime. First introduced in 76, squishy and oozy slime came packaged in a plastic garbage can and became a bestseller right away. 77 saw a new, wildly popular way to play with the slime monster game, where players try to slime their opponent.
They can talk you into buying anything if you buy slime.
I'm telling you. And it's so popular even today. Like I said, my couple of my granddaughters happy as a clam if you just get them Play-Doh and slime. I think it's the greatest thing ever. Slime making kits. Oh, the good old Hungry Hippos. I definitely remember playing this.
Yeah.
Hungry Hippos was released in 78 to high acclaim. Basically, you play as a plastic hippo, try to eat as many marbles as possible, as fast as possible. Kids born in the early 80s remember the game well. It's been a staple in the family game room since its launch. Yep.
I think the Mandela effect is they changed colors. Does those colors look normal to you?
I don't know. I was just thinking about that because I know that is an effect. I mean, now there's so many different versions because they're smaller. I mean, this is the original.
Yeah.
I don't know. The orange one just don't seem right to me. Maybe he was blue or
I was thinking the pink one might have been brown.
no, I don't remember a brown. I remember a blue though.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know though. Again, something I can't say for sure, even though I played it many times. But I also noticed because I bought it for my children and over the years that it has changed a lot. It isn't so. I
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
they even have names now. I don't know what they are, but
Well, I think they always had names. I don't remember what they are either. But I think they always did have names. That's why I think there was a because I think the blue and green were boys and the yellow and pink were girls. That's why I think that orange one's blue because, but I don't know. I can't say for sure. Again,
yeah.
that was 78. That was a long time ago.
Oh, all this time they've been so hungry, and nobody cares.
Yeah. And the good old original Atari. Of course, I had one of these. The 70s
Yep.
started the video. I didn't have it when it was new, though. Believe me, I probably had my Atari in like 80s when I bought it for myself. But the 70s started the video game craze with Atari first reaching the homes in 75. And though 150,000 were sold that first year, it only took off once the inventor sold the system to Warner Communications. By the end of 79, sales topped 415 million.
Yeah, I probably had one in around 1980.
Yeah, it's probably when I had mine. The paddles were out by then, like they got there now.
Mm.
The original Atari only had the joystick. And then the newer models, they started having the joysticks and the paddles. And then, yeah, used to play a lot of the old Atari. Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube was invented in 74 by a professor in his mother's Budapest apartment. The twisty-turny puzzle cube became really popular in 1980, though, when it debuted at the New York Toy Fair. The toy was immediately popular, and about 100 million cubes were sold in the next 3 years.
It's a lot of
100
cubes.
million. Wow, that's just crazy. 100 million in 3 years.
I was so happy when I learned how to take that thing apart and put it back together again.
Yeah. I never really get into the cubes or messed with them. They were just never really my thing. Although I do remember them. They were quite popular when I was growing up, no doubt. Good old Smurfs in 81. September of 81, Smurfs first aired on television and became part of a standard 80s childhood.
Yep.
Yep.
No Mandela effects concerning the Smurfs that I know of.
Yeah, I don't know.
My brother had the whole collection. If he still had it to this day, I'm sure it'd be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, by 81, I was in the service, so I wasn't into the Smurfs but I do know my children. Some of them were into the Smurfs. A lot of my younger brothers and sisters were into the Smurfs. They had the Smurf game on one of those, a Nintendo or Atari or one of them. Play. But all right, 82. We can largely thank a boy and his alien for the BMX bike craze throughout the 80s. The off-road trick bikes were featured in E.T., released in 1982, and kids around the country instantly had to have them.
Don't.
I never knew a BMX bike was the thing that E.T. flew home on.
Me neither. That's news to me as well.
Interesting.
Maybe that's a Mandela effect.
No, I doubt it because that looks like the bike that I do remember.
But still, why would
this-
it? Why would, if it's such a big deal, just now be being mentioned?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not one of those guys that tries to make everything a Mandela effect, but I do think that there's stuff that didn't happen and did happen, and it gets overlooked more than like name changes and stuff. I think there's an alternate history.
Well, I mean, it ain't like you had the internet back then. So
Yeah.
the fact that, you know, the fact that so many of the bikes sold sort of shows that, yes, that must have been the bike in the movie. Everybody wanted one because of the movie.
Yeah,
But it
that's
ain't like
true.
it would have went out in world, info didn't travel like, I mean, you had to have seen the movie. You had to have identified the bike. You had to
The
have wanted the
BMX
bike.
bikes were still like selling like crazy. The magazine when it was happening, the kids were tricking their bikes out long before ET movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he just kicked it into a higher gear.
Yep.
Oh, and another thing that I could not stand, I remember this. I was in the service. This was 83. So, yep, I was in the service. And man, I don't get it.
What is it?
Grown women buying these things and treating them like real children. I mean, I've seen it on planes.
Oh, Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, this drove me insane. 1983. Cabbage Patch Kids were created by a 21-year-old folk artist in Georgia as dolls you could adopt after they were born. The artist Xavier Roberts couldn't keep up with demand in 1982. He joined forces with Coleco to mass produce the dolls when they launched to the public in 83. People were so obsessed with getting one before Christmas that violent riots broke out in several stores. I remember that. These things, people were nuts for these things. And they came on an adoption paper and they named them. And I'm telling you, people, this scared me. I was, what was I? I'd been like 20 years old.
This is when you realize pulp culture had the mass markets by a stranglehold.
No, this is when I realized the public at large were crazy.
Yes.
Totally 100% insane.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you had to live through this and see it to even begin to understand what
I
I'm talking about.
did. I did. I was well, what year was it?
Strollers, they fed them. They
13. I was 12. I watched it firsthand. My mom's and them looking for them.
It was nuts, just nuts. Yeah, that was the moment I realized, okay, humanity's totally off its friggin' rocker. You think this doll is real because they literally thought it was real.
They treated it like it was, yeah.
Better than a real child in most cases, 100%. But again, we're going to move on from the cabbage because that's the trigger for me. I never liked them or wanted anything to do with that garbage.
I spent a Christmas Eve one year looking for this exact toy for my stepson.
The Transformers.
That Optimus Prime guy right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
1984. Both the television show and toys for Transformers were released. Hasbro produced the robot toys that took on other forms like cars, planes, and cassette tapes. Transformer fever took over, and the toys became one of the most successful franchises in history. Yep. And the Optimus Prime Mack truck was definitely the most desired of the batch.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Ruxpin. Now here's a bear I could like. Still no Pooh, but definitely a step above the Paddington. Teddy Ruxpin. And my oldest daughter, I remember, we got her one of these. This was 1985. Teddy Ruxpin, the stuffed bear with a cassette tape in his back, entered the world of mass toy production in 85. He could tell stories and move his mouth and eyes along with the tail. The bear sold out for Christmas and remained the next year's top-selling Christmas gift. Yep.
I think you should play a song, Armor.
All right. We'll hold up at Teddy Ruxpin and let's see what else we got in the songboard. Hope everybody in chat's enjoying the decades or century. I guess we're covering a whole century of the top Christmas items of every year. So, okay, let's see. We just heard that one. Let's hear. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. One's got to be for the end. Let's do, oh, I know. Let's do, I was talking to Hebrew on the Shifty Sunday Christmas special he did. And I mentioned, old 45s I got of the Snoopy and the Red Barons, and one of them is a Christmas one. So here's Snoopy's Christmas.
The news had come out in the First World War. The bloody Red Baron was flying once more. The Allied command ignored all of its men and called on Snoopy to do it again. Was the night before Christmas, 40 below, when Snoopy went up in search of his foe. He spied the Red Baron, fiercely they fought. With eyes on his wings, Snoopy knew he was caught. Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ring out from the land, asking peace of all the world and goodwill to man. The Baron had Snoopy dead in his sights. He reached for the trigger to pull it up tight. Why he didn't shoot, well, we'll never know. Or was it the bells from the village below? Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through the land, bringing peace to all the world and goodwill to man. The Baron made Snoopy fly to the right and forced him to land behind the enemy lines. Snoopy was certain that this was the end when the Baron cried out, "Merry Christmas, my friend!" The Baron then offered a holiday toast, and Snoopy, our hero, saluted his host. And then with a roar, they were both on their way, each knowing they'd meet on some other day. Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through the land, bringing peace to all the world and goodwill to man. Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through the land, bringing peace to all the world and goodwill to man. Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through the land, bringing peace to all the world.
All right, there you go. Snoopy and the Red Baron's Christmas.
I enjoyed that.
Still got
Thank
the
you.
45 somewhere put away. All right, moving on. The good old pound puppies. Like the Cabbage Patch Kids, pound puppies were toys you could adopt. No, not like the Cabbage Patch Kids. This is a pretend puppy dog, not a child that you feed and name and no. They came in a cardboard carrier with a guide to taking care of the new pet. They were selling out by 1985 and got an extra boost in popularity when their own cartoon premiered in the fall of '86. Yep, I remember the pound puppies.
Yeah, I was a little too old for them. I
Oh,
was
I had
turning
children.
16.
I had
I was
children
getting
then.
my driver's license that year. I wasn't interested in no pound puppy.
Yeah. I was starting to have children then, so now these were toys I were getting my children. Ah, now here, yes. Still, in my opinion, one of the best little systems ever. Gamers have Nintendo to thank for reviving the video game scene in the 80s. Atari had fallen out of favor and no one was buying video game systems, not even the Nintendo when it first released, until Super Mario Bros. Debuted. No one knows when the game went on sale in the US, but by 1987, it was there and taking Nintendo to stardom with it. Yep, the original Nintendo.
Yep, I liked me some Nintendo.
Yep.
I remember that Kush ball thingy.
Yeah, the world was introduced to the Koosh Ball in 1987. The creator wanted to help his kids learn how to play catch, so he invented an easily caught ball made from rubber strands, 2,000 of them per ball, to be exact. By 1988, the Koosh Ball was a must-have Christmas gift. They still make them crazy things. Yes,
Yep.
I remember the Koosh Ball. Oh, yep, the Game Boy, 1989. Capitalizing on the popularity of the original system, Nintendo released Game Boy, a handheld video game system in '89. It was bundled with the puzzle game Tetris and immediately took the world by storm, selling 35 million the first year.
Again, I graduated high school. I was interested in other things besides Game Boys.
Yep, I do remember the Game Boy though. Very popular.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the Turtles. By 1990, everyone wanted to be a hero in a half shell, or at least have one of their own. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mania was sweeping across the country thanks to a comic book, a cartoon, and action figures. That year, the first movie was released, and the toys started flying off the shelves faster than ever. Yep, I remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle phase. Loved the Turtles.
I love that they were real people in disguise.
Heroes in a half shell.
Yeah. I mean, the way they did that for that movie was, I don't know, it was just like, it seemed real high tech for what they had. The way they
It was
did the
definitely
special effects.
great effects for back in the day.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, 91 Pogs. I remember these. Never really, none of my kids or anyone I know got, or yeah, someone did like the Pogs. I forget who that was. Pogs in some form have already been around since the 1600s in Japan. The original discs were about the size of milk caps, which kids used when the game became popular in Hawaii in the 1900s. In 1991, a school teacher named Blossom Galbiso taught her students how to play, sparking a craze that would take over the country. Yep, I remember the Pogues.
Vaguely.
Yep. Oh, Barney. Barney the big lovable purple dinosaur first debuted in a TV show in April '92. By November, more than 25,000 people were flocking to events around the country, forming lines almost a mile long just to get a glimpse of the dino. Barney merchandise sold like crazy that first year.
Good thing he's not a real person. Imagine how rich he'd be.
Yeah,
He'd be rich like Oprah rich.
yeah. Yeah, Barney definitely was a craze. The Talk Boy? What the heck is this? Fun fact, the first Talk Boy wasn't actually a real thing. It was a non-functional prop for a 1992's Home Alone 2. Fans wanted it though and launched a letter writing campaign to have the voice-changing cassette recorder produced. The campaign was successful, and in 1993 the functional Talk Boy instantly topped toy charts. Really? You ever hear of a Talk Boy?
I never called it that, but I do know the thing they're referring to, and it was a cool gadget, but I never called it a Talk Boy.
Huh. Strange, I never heard of that. A voice changing cassette recorder. And man, I was into my cassettes and stuff. I mean, it just blows my mind.
It didn't play cassettes though. The one I was referring to, it just used like a sample recording, digital sample recording, and then would play it back at the tone with different tone effects added to it.
No, this is an actually voice changing cassette recorder.
Oh well, see, I never
See the
had
cassette
that.
here, and it says it right there.
Yeah, I
You know,
never had that.
I never heard of that, and I was into cassette recorders.
Yeah, that's new
I
to
can't
me.
believe I never heard of this. And it's 93. And yeah, that one definitely blows my mind. 93? Cassettes weren't even hardly popular anymore by 93. Okay, 94, Power Rangers. The initial life cycle of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was fairly short. The show launched in 93. In 94, fans were causing 8-mile-long traffic jams to meet the characters, and the toys topped the holiday gift charts. Only a year later, popularity peaked with a movie and then rapidly declined. But that was just the first wave. The Power Rangers were back with a vengeance by 2013. Yeah, the original Power Rangers didn't last that long.
I never liked them. Wasn't a fan.
Ah, the Beanie Babies. In 95, the Beanie Baby toy craze took off when one of the toys, a stuffed lamb called Lovey, was discontinued. The inventor, Ty Warner, told angry customers the toy had retired, exponentially driving up demand. He began to do this at random to different Beanie Babies and watched as their value grew. Owners were able to sell rare Beanie Babies to finance braces and even adopt a child. Crazy.
Crazy talk.
Yep.
Adopting, selling a stuffed animal to adopt a real kid.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing to do, but amazing you could get enough money out of a stuffed animal to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, even today, certain Beanie Babies are still worth big bucks, and they still make them and collect them. I gotta admit, I got Beanie Babies stashed away places that, just in case, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Not that I
Look
bought,
at
but
me.
like you get a McDonald's sometimes, or see at a flea market, or get at a yard sale that comes with others, you know. Yeah, I see a Beanie Baby. I definitely, if it's a real Thai Beanie Baby, I definitely put it away because they're highly collectible for whatever reason. Got to be the Tickle Me Elmo, yes. Tickle Me Elmo, the doll that laughed more and more as you tickled it, hit shelves in July of '96. But it didn't sell well at first until Rosie O'Donnell featured it on her show in October. By the holiday shopping season, people were trampling one another to get the dolls, which were selling out in a matter of minutes. Power of marketing, my friend. Ah, the Tamagotchi. I do remember these. My kids all wanted the Tamagotchi. In 1997, everyone wanted Tamagotchi, the portable pet you feed, play with, and help grow. On the sad chance you forgot to pause the game and leave it alone for a few hours, the Tamagotchi dies. Yes, they do. Shortly after its release, it was featured in the New York Times and was selling out nationwide with wait lists for people hoping to get one. Yep, they were definitely the craze, and my kids would play with them things and feed them. And 97, huh? Oh, the Furbies. Yep, again, remember these?
My bad. I
Children
didn't
wanted.
realize I was muted. Now I can see how somebody could get into that versus the pet rock.
Oh, the Tamagotchi. Yeah, at
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
it
At least
was almost
interactive.
interactive. Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhat. It was very, as you see the graphics on it. There's like the face.
Yeah.
It's
It
like
was
your
old
hand.
school digital, like a
Like
calculator.
old school. Yeah, black and
Yeah.
white basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were definitely the stuff. And then the Furbies. Yes, my children all wanted the Furbies. Inspired by Tamagotchis, David Hampton and Caleb Chung came up with Furbies, which became wildly popular despite being creepy. High demand for the toy pushed prices to more than $100 at Christmas time in '98. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I remember when those came out. My kids loved them. And
Yeah.
remember they weren't allowed in federal or government buildings because of the risk that they were gathering intelligent information and sharing it with
Yeah.
China.
Yep. Voice recording and stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Pokemon. Trading
Well, I
cards have
mean,
all.
needless to say more. I mean, Pokemon is the craze. If you
Well,
ever
yeah.
heard of Pokemon, you must be living under a pet rock.
Yeah, because now they had the Pokemon Go and all the other crazy stuff. But we're
Yep.
talking original. Trading cards have always brought in a tidy sum. And Pokemon cards, the game based on capturing and battling adorable monsters, is no exception. In '99, Pokemon cards were the most popular holiday gift and the most controversial. Some parents sued the company that year, claiming the game had given their children gambling problems. But even to this day, my grandson and my son and they all, yeah, Pokemon's been going strong. All right, the Razor scooter. Foldable Razor A scooter was released in 2000 and was quickly named Toy of the Year. By the next year, 7 million were sold in the US. The scooters are still popular today among people of all ages, including adults scooting their way to work in the city. But nothing has quite matched the popularity of the first launch. Yep, the old Razor scooters.
It's amazing with those little wheels that they roll as fast as they do.
Yeah, yeah, they'll cruise. Now they got little electric ones and oh, the Brats. Yes, I remember the Brats.
Oh,
In
okay, the brat.
2001, Barbie found worthy rivals in her edgy descendants, Bratz dolls. The dolls were fashion forward, wore a lot of glittery makeup, and had huge doll eyes. Millions sold that first year, and now there's a whole Bratz empire behind the dolls. Beyblades, yep. My son was
Yep, I
definitely into
remember
the
those.
Beyblade. Yep.
It's
Beyblades
basically
custom.
cops battling each other with
Yep.
different combat accessories.
Yep. Beyblades customized spinning battle tops were born in Japan in '99 and launched internationally in 2002. They were an instant success, bolstered by an accompanying TV show that began to air the year prior. Yep, my boy was definitely into the Beyblades. And my grandson, too, is they're still popular. Oh, the electric Hulk hands. While Beyblades were still dominating sales in '03, the Toy Association's Boy Toy of the Year award knocked them down a notch and placed electronic Hulk hands at the top spot. The big green gloves made Hulk noises when you hit things with them. Yep, it's a Hulk smash. All kind of stuff. Did you ever mess with the Hulk hands?
No, never did do the Hulk hands, but I do think they're kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they were pretty cool. Robo Sapien. Robotics has come a long way since the Furby craze of 1998, and in 2004, Robo Sapien burst onto the market. It was a trainable robot that could interact with you and do whatever you wanted. Kids went crazy for it, taking it to the top of the Christmas must have list. All right, we're getting through them. We're up to 2000s at least. The Xbox 360. Next big innovation in video gaming systems launched in November '05 with the Xbox 360. It was a
Yep.
much anticipated release, and gamers and parents waited outside stores all night to get one, only to be confronted with a supply shortage that often left them empty handed.
If only we could know in '05 what we know now.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember they were black marketing them on eBay for like thousands.
Mm-hmm.
People were buying them just so they could have one for Christmas. It's crazy.
Yep. Yep. I remember people at my work had two or three extra ones they bought off eBay for sale locally for $600, $800 a piece. I was like, no way people are paying that. And they're like, yep, that's what they're paying.
Oh yeah, they'd sell them instantly. All right, then in 06, of course, the third iteration of the PlayStation hit the shelves just in time for the holidays, of course. It was the most expensive video game system yet, but it also came with either a 20 gig hard drive or a 60 gig hard drive. PlayStation 3. When Apple first released the iPhone in 06, it was an instant hit. However, the company knew not everyone was buying it, either because they had a phone already, didn't want it, or it just cost too much. So in 07, Apple released the iPhone without the phone, the iPod Touch. It stayed a bestseller until the next generation was released in 08. Also in 08, Nintendo's first big motion sensitive console was released in 06, launching a new type of video gaming that others would expand on in years to come. The console sold out during the holidays every year. In 2008, 13.4 million units were in U.S. households.
Wow.
You ever played a Wii?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I played the Wii. It was sort of cool.
It's unique.
Yeah.
It stands. It holds its own.
Yep, absolutely. Pretty cool to see the dude in the wheelchair playing it. But yeah, that's really fun. All right. Barnes & Noble took a risk in 2009 and released an e-reader called the Nook, competing directly with Amazon's Kindle. Sales backed the value of the decision, though. That year, the company sold out of its entire stock, and people were waiting for back-ordered ones through the Christmas season. Yep, I remember when they came out.
I'm like, what does it do again? It reads books.
Yeah, it's
What
just an e-reader.
what else does it do? It reads books. I mean, does it get online? It reads books. It reads
Well, it has
books.
games.
Oh, okay.
It has games. It has audio. It has web.
All right. Well, then that's cool. But they kept just telling me it reads books. I'm like, it's got to do more than just read books.
Yeah, I mean, it was no web browser like we're used to, but
Right.
I mean, I think it mainly only might have went on the web to buy books. I'm not positive. But I know
Right.
it did have connectivity, and it did have some built-in little games like your solitaires and stuff like that.
Okay. Because I couldn't believe they were selling it for hundreds of dollars, and all it was doing was reading to you a book. Like I was getting, like I couldn't believe it was so popular. Like that they were selling out, like they said. People really liked having audiobooks, apparently.
Well, it's not audiobooks; it's ebooks.
Oh yeah, okay. You still have to read it even.
Yeah. Now imagine there's probably audio. I mean, I don't know if it has a reader built in, but
Oh, okay.
if you like to read, this was the thing. I mean, I love to read, so I understand the popularity, but
Right, and it's designed a way that's easy to read, like where some screens have a higher glare or propensity
exactly. Yeah.
that makes it hard to read them.
And you could get lots of books cheap because back then everybody and their brother wanted you to get into their
Kindle.
book selling place. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kindle's pretty much took over, but back then there was much more competition.
makes sense. Well, where are we at? We got to be getting close to the end.
2009. We'll do 2010, then we'll do another song. So
All right.
2010, the iPad. The first iPad was a much anticipated as a new tablet following the release of the iPhone a few years earlier. More than 300,000 sold when it first launched and by the end of the holidays, sales had reached the millions, outselling actual Mac computers. Yes, the iPad was very popular. I never had one back then.
No, I never got into the iProducts at all. If I held somebody else's and tried to navigate, I'd get lost in so quick. It's like I think they on purpose, if you make them the opposite way that you navigate Android, because Android people have the hardest time navigating on iProducts, and iProduct people have the hardest time when they pick up an Android for the first time. And I think that they're purposely designed opposite each other in order to keep people from crossing over to the other side.
Maybe because Macs and PCs have always been different, because I always ran my PC computer shop back in the day, and people would bring in Macs or ask me about Macs, and I'm like, I can't help you. That's a whole different world. I can't.
Right.
I know nothing about Macs. You know what I mean? I know PCs. So yeah, but when I finally did have to break down and get one of these smartphones, I think last year we got it or whatever, a couple years ago, maybe now, I went with Apple because I asked my son, because he has both, and he's my son. He'd been having smartphones since they came out. And he basically explained to me some of the differences, and so I decided to go with Apple. And another big choice was Apple won't share your info, at least supposedly they didn't used to. I don't know how they still stick with the policy, but you had to actually have a search warrant for them to break a phone for the police or anybody, whereas the rest of them they'll just break them. So I like that about Apple. So I know nothing about Android, so I imagine it'd be like you're saying, I'd pick, because I barely can get through this Apple. But yeah, I think they've always been different worlds, because PCs and Macs have always been 180 out, totally different, whole different worlds, different terms and file names, just everything's different.
Yep. Proprietary, they call it.
Yes, very proprietary. So let's see. How about if we do... Well, let's do a Christmas medley. Here we go.
Is a very special one for all of us. And
Brendan Lake.
As we continue to sing a few songs, I just felt led to sing a song that I know has been dear to my heart and has helped me in not so celebratory seasons, but just remembering that in every season, whether one like this, so sweet, so special, getting to celebrate together, or in hard times, that we still can have a heart of gratitude and to say thank you, because he gave his son, and the reality of that can really hopefully get us through anything and still allow us to lift up worship, to lift up praise, to say thank you to him. So as we sing these next few songs, I just want to encourage you together, man, let's lavish our love back on the Lord and just say thank you and lift up a heart of gratitude.
So I throw up my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah. Hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for my King except for a heart singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I throw up my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah. Hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I'm nothing else fit for a king except for a heart singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. No matter my season will be my storm. Oh, so come on, my soul, Oh, don't you get shy on me, lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Yeah, come on, my soul. So come on, my soul. Oh, don't you get shy on me, lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. So come on, my soul. So come on, my soul. Oh, don't you get shy on me, lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Oh, so I'll throw up my hands and praise you again and again. So that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, I'm nothing else fit for you, King, except for a heart singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. So grateful, so grateful. In Jesus we love you. Oh, how we love you. You are the one our hearts adore. Jesus, we love you. Come on, tell them now. Oh, how we love you. You are the one our hearts adore. Oh, how we love Jesus, we love you. Yeah. Oh, how we love you. You are the one our hearts adore. Our hearts adore. Our hearts adore. There's no one like you, none beside you. Our hearts adore. Jesus, hearts adore. No, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him, Christ the Lord. Come on, let's sing that together. Every voice, oh, come, let us adore. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him, Christ the Lord. One more time, sing. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him, Christ the Lord. Amen.
Wow.
Cool, yeah, I like that one. Brandon Lake's pretty cool.
That one really gets you. Makes me feel unworthy, Armor. Like Wayne's World. I'm unworthy.
We're all unworthy.
Yeah.
That's the
I don't
good
feel
part of it.
worthy to be even on the mic coming on after something as awesome as that. Like I'm humbled, my friend.
Well, cool. We got a few more songs. But I guess on with the list.
All right, on with the list.
All right, 2011. Move over, Tickle Me Elmo. The Red Dog can now play instruments and sing. Let's Rock Elmo knew 6 songs and was popular enough in 2011 to make Time's top 10 everything list.
He looks like what's the word they use? Come on, help me out here.
I don't
It's
know.
shill, the ultimate shill right there. Look at him.
The ultimate show. Sell out.
Yeah.
We could get
But
into
I
all
digress.
kinds of symbolism, lightning bolts, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a Christmas show. Nintendo's next console, the Wii U, launched in November 2012, just in time
Oh,
for the holiday.
excuse you. I didn't realize. I mean,
Yeah,
we have a restroom if you need one.
yeah, just in time for the holiday shopping craze, of course. It sold out in the first week, again prompting hopeful system owners to wait outside all night to get one. Never was
What was,
into that one.
what was it
Nobody
called
owned
again?
Wii U.
Wii U too.
Wii U 2. Yeah, I never really was into that one. My kids weren't into that one. Don't know much
No,
about
me
that one.
neither. Nah, kind of pass.
He was more
Elmo
into the
keeps.
Game Boy.
I see Elmo's face keep popping up down there at the bottom.
Elmo.
Does he make another appearance?
Oh, yep. Every time a new Elmo toy comes out, he creeps back into popularity, as in 2013 with the release of Big Hugs Elmo. The Elmo
Big
dolls are back.
Elmo.
What's that?
Big hugs.
Big Hugs. It immediately made it on the Toys R Us list of best holiday toys. Only one problem, though. It was recalled shortly after because the batteries tend to overheat. I thought I remembered something about that one having a recall, or I knew one of them did, but yep, it was that one, the Big Hugs.
So those big hugs are a little bit too heated and passionate.
Little bit. He got a little overheated.
Yep.
All right. Oh, the turtles are back. Disney's new movie Frozen was all the rage throughout 2014, but numbers after the holidays proved another movie actually spawned the highest selling toy of the season. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie relaunched in 2014 along with the action figures, which outpaced the Elsa doll from Frozen, originally thought to be number 1. Wow, that is hard to believe.
Yeah.
Frozen was very popular.
Don't mess with heroes in a half shell.
That's right. Can't mess with the turtles. All right, 2015. The BB-8 droid was listed as one of the year's must-have holiday gifts. The robotic ball with a detachable, independently moving head was controlled by a smartphone, and by Christmas morning, Star Wars geeks of all ages had one rolling around under the tree. There you go, BB-8. Wasn't into that
Yeah,
one.
I missed out on BB-8.
Yep, me too. Hatchimals. Yep, I remember Hatchimals. My granddaughters love Hatchimals. Hatchimals are cute, interactive toys that hatch themselves out of eggs. They were released in October 2016 and instantly began selling out in every store that sold them.
They do it. They hatch themselves. I mean, that. How much more cool can that be?
What more could you want?
Yeah.
And then you get a cute little critter. You never know what you're going to get. It's a surprise. Oh yeah, these creepy things. These are another ones that creep me out, but I do remember these creepy things. Matching the Hatchimals level holiday craze, fingerlings were introduced in 2017 to a lot of excitement. The little robotic monkeys that attach to your finger and make monkey
Ugh.
noises at you constantly sold out within hours.
The
Every
thought of
time
it gripping my finger weirds me out.
yeah, and making monkey noises. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, this whole yeah. Not one of the toys I bought for me, my grandchildren, or anyone. No, we didn't do the fingerlings. Bluetooth audio has been common for several years, but when Apple eliminated the wires on its earbuds, the AirPods craze took over in 2018. After the product got over the ridicule hump, aka the rich and wealthy, who shelled out $160 for a product that in the past was free when it included a wire and was purchased with an iPhone. It became a ubiquitous symbol of tech and music. So the AirPods. Never was into them either.
Nope.
It's not unusual for a wildly popular song to transcend the airwaves into the cultural consciousness, and Baby Shark has been no different. The Wowee Pink Fong Baby Shark official song puppet is cute, yellow, and advanced. It moves its mouth with your hand and plays Baby Shark. Moving it faster or slower changes the song's tempo. What would a gift craze be without options? I never heard of that thing.
No, me neither.
And why does it say it's yellow?
I mean, don't ask me.
It's cute, yellow, and advanced.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty then. Moving on to 2020. Shindana Toys, a California-based company, of course, manufactured most black dolls from the 60s to the 80s and introduced its first doll, Baby Nancy, in 1968. Baby Nancy, who sports an afro, was the first doll to show realistic black features. With 32 dolls and 6 games in production, Shindana became the largest producer of black dolls and toys of the 70s. In 2020, the pioneering doll was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame.
Well, I didn't know anything about that either.
Now, all right, 2021. Baby Yoda isn't just popular amongst kids, but adults who are longtime Star Wars fans. With his big ears, huge black eyes, and recognizable robe, Baby Yoda has been transformed into toys of all kinds. An animatronic plaything, a card game, a vinyl figure, Lego, and plush toys of various sizes. So last year, Baby Yoda.
I'll say 2 things about him. One, he's amazingly cute. 2, he's a marketing genius. I mean, who isn't going to want to buy a Baby Yoda?
I can agree with a genius, but I don't understand why everyone thinks he's so cute.
Have you seen like the clips from the show?
I've never seen Baby Yoda other than like the dolls and stuff.
You got to watch the clips with him in it, and then you'll see how he does his cuteness.
I'm sure he is, because Yoda is cool. I mean, Yoda was definitely one of my favorite characters. So I'm not saying he doesn't have his appeal, but cute, I don't know.
Yeah, it's adorable beyond words. And he gets picked on, so you want to stick up for him. They're out to kill him, you know.
What show's that on? Is that Mandalorian or whatever?
Yeah, The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to watch it. Just go watch it. You'll be glad you did.
I'll have to see if I can find it somewhere to watch for free.
It'll be on that thing you told me about.
Yeah, probably. All right, 2022. What? Light Bright?
Making a resurgence.
Okay. Hasbro's Light Bright has been a hit with kids since its introduction in the 60s. I was going to say, yes, when I was a child, these were awesome. Thanks to its cameo in the chart-topping show Stranger Things, the Light Up Peg toy has enjoyed a renewed interest from toy lovers looking to boost their creativity while waxing nostalgic. Well, I gotta say, nobody I know asked for a Light Bright this year, so I don't know where they're getting their statistics. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little far-fetched as well. But the 80s nostalgia has made a comeback this year with like Ghostbusters, the sequel, and Stranger Things, and a couple others that I can't think of the names of right off the top of my head, have made 80s the thing again in fashion and culture. But I don't think that it transfers over to the Light Bright. I mean, I know they're shown playing one in one scene, but I don't know where to the point where everybody wants to buy one. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, that is saying that that's going to be the most popular toy this year. I don't know.
Well, apparently it's popular right now, so that's what they're saying anyway.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
I did have a lot of the good toys growing up, Bob. They were usually used or like a lot of Goodwill stores and stuff growing up. So a lot of my toys and stuff I would go there and get for like cheap because kids would get them at Christmas and then take them to the Goodwill stores and they'd still be pretty well new.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a lot of the good toys. They weren't brand new though, but yeah, I definitely went. When I'd see something cool at the Goodwill store, I'd snatch it up.
Pretty comprehensive list. I'm sorry you had to read all of that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I really
Song
am.
breaks definitely help. Song breaks definitely help. That's a lot.
I bet. Speaking of which, we still should have at least one, maybe two left.
Oh yeah, I think we still got a couple. Let me see what we got here. And thanks to the chat. I'm sorry I haven't been over there hanging out with you guys, but I can't when I'm reading. So let's see. Next in line. Well, let's do another. Let's do a funny one. Let's talk about the slave ride.
All the kids know the sleigh rider. The sleigh rider makes your Christmas brighter. Oh, oh, oh. Come on, Blitzen. Take
about some cookies and milk?
How about some cookies and milk, Sage? You got cookies and milk ready?
Yeah, I think I could go down with some cookies and milk.
Yeah, me too. I got all kind of goodies sitting right over there. It's like a regular smorgasbord of sweets. But yeah, we got a couple more songs for you yet this evening. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show. Man, we got over 3 hours already, my brother. Holy
Look,
smoke.
Bob said in a comment, he said it's like a list of all the things that I've always wanted but could never, I've always wanted for present but never got.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite a comprehensive list.
Yeah.
You, definitely brought back lots of memories from my childhood.
I tell you what, though, I think there are examples in there of pulp culture craze, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
and as I don't know. I hate to sound preachy. I hate to even try to come off preachy. But when I witness that, I try to remember how much power there is in the faith of God, because even though it doesn't show itself and manifest in that same way, it can be just as strong and even more powerful, and it's just as real, if not even more so. So if those people had that same energy found in the faith of God, imagine the power that would have, spiritually. And I know it sounds preachy coming out of my mouth, so I don't know. I don't even really know how else to say it, but I imagine that. That's what I do. And when I imagine it, it humbles me tremendously, because I think of that. I think of how much that could do. But I'm unprepared for it. I'm not aware of it. I'm not capable of that. So I mean, it's not realistic to even think about, but I do. And that's really all I got to say. I just wanted to try to remind you that if you think of it that way, when you see it, it'll help you maintain a spiritual base, because that's where I find mine. And I don't know how else to say it, so that's what I'm saying. All right, Armor, passing it to you.
All right, yeah. And that's a good point. I mean, that's what faith is all about. Faith is, you know, trusting in the things we don't see, whereas marketing and what happens on the list is put into our heads by what we do see. And I mean, it's just the way it is. Even growing up as a child, watching The Lone Ranger, of course I wanted the Lone Ranger mask, and I'd ride my tricycle saying "Hi-Yo Silver." You know what I mean? So it everything is made to influence what we want and what we desire. But that's why with faith, it takes faith to want and desire the Father and the things of Jesus and his teachings, and because it isn't bombarded into our eyes and into our brains. It's more from our hearts. And it's more from faith. It's pure faith. But yep, and that's what this is all about. We have a lot of fun on the Christmas show. We try to make it entertaining. We try to mix a little fun with the real meaning, but hopefully what's come across this evening is the real meaning of Christmas. We started the show that way. We've made sure we put it throughout, and we're going to end it big time with a couple songs to that effect. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. I'm glad you all stuck with us. Let me do a shout out. Then we got, I think, 2 more songs. We'll do 1 more song, and then we'll do our final words, and then we'll end it with a song instead of my usual outro. I'm going to save my personal favorite Christmas song, one of them. Like I said, I love the old hymns like Away in a Manger and Oh Holy Night and all those. I love all those songs. You should play all of them on my organ. But one of my all-time favorites, I'll save for last. And it's a version that was just done. Oh, it's probably been a decade or so now since they put it out, but by a band that redid it. And it's by far the greatest version of this song I've ever heard in my life. I love it. So we're going to save that for last. But we do have another song to remind you of what the season's all about. And, you know, no matter what you're doing tomorrow, hopefully, if you're lucky enough, you'll be gathered with friends and families, having a meal and opening gifts. Um, Saji won't be doing that by the sounds of it tomorrow. I'm not going to be doing that tomorrow. I mean, I'll be here with my uncle. We will have a meal, me and my wife, my uncle. I did get him a couple little things. But yeah, ain't going to be a big meal. Ain't going to be a lot of like we normally do with my children and my grandchildren because of the situation. But, you know, I'm still blessed. So never forget how blessed you are, most of all. And the next song will sum up how, you know, don't get caught up in the commercialization like we just read you a giant list for a century of. But remember the real gift that was given. And we can debate whether he's born today or all of that nonsense. You know, none of that matters. The reason I celebrate the season, hopefully I've made quite clear this evening and will continue to do so to the end. But don't neglect the greatest gift any of us can be given, whether we're alone at home tomorrow, whether we're with family and friends, whether we got hundreds of presents to open or whether we got nothing. We still got the best gift anyone could ever receive. And that was being able to get back to the Father directly through what was achieved through his son, Jesus Christ, or Emmanuel. So here's one more song, then some final thoughts, and then my favorite song of all time. Yes, I hope you're not sleeping when the end comes.
I'm not asleep. Nope, I'm not asleep.
Wake up while you still got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
All right, brother. Well, like I said, I got one song left. I'm going to save that for the end instead of another.
All right.
So,
Did you already do this? Did you already do the shout out?
Now I can do a quick shout out, and then we can do some final thoughts. We got Ray of Sunshine, Bear Lamb, Deborah O'Connor, Go Kart Bob. Good job, my friend. Good job. I know y'all's Will Soaring was here earlier. Screw up. We also had the man himself, Santa Von Claus, was the first one in the chat this evening.
A dubious individual.
Dubiously. Still scrolling. I'm almost to the top. I don't think we missed anyone. All right, I don't see anybody I missed. So shout out to our lurkers as always. Also, thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed the holiday treats Saji has back there for you this evening. But yeah, definitely appreciate y'all being here. Saji, final thoughts?
No, I just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the warm blessings that come along with it. That they have safe and positive experiences with their family and their friends, and that everything goes well for them and their family and their friends. I hope the same for you, Armor, and I know that there's a big cold front that's went through, so if you don't necessarily have to travel and it's below zero outside, then don't travel. I mean, use common sense, I guess is what I'm saying, because it don't take long for you to be sitting out there in the cold and stuck on the freeway and no heat and I mean it would not be a very good experience. So think it through. Pack some blankets. Bring some warmers or a way to start a fire or something. I don't know, but think about it. Make sure you think it through before you go. And that's really all I got, Armor. Passing it on to you.
And definitely want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas also. You too, my brother. And Bob said, who's the special guest that didn't show up? That is Key Brother. He must have. I did just get a message from him, like literally 2-3 minutes ago, 6 minutes ago. He was busy with his family and celebrating Christmas, so absolutely way more important than doing a live show. So no bad feelings there. Merry Christmas to him and his family, and to all you and all your families. Keep us in your prayers as I keep you guys in my prayers. And of course, don't forget to pray for the children, our fellow brothers and sisters around the world.
And Armor, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to say I hope that we provided a nice environment for people to listen to and experience while they get ready for Christmas on Christmas Eve. And if you're listening to it tomorrow on Christmas Day, I mean, that was our goal, our intention is to make something edifiable for you to enjoy on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. If we accomplish that, then we did our thing. I'm sorry, Armor, go ahead.
That's fine. And mostly for those lost in the darkness, so they too might be able to see the light, especially as we celebrate the birth of our Lord Jesus, whether it's the right date or not. I don't care. I just like to celebrate Jesus. And if I got an excuse to do it, that's good enough for me. But yeah, other than that, may our Father bless you. May he keep you. May his grace shine upon you and give you some peace now and throughout the coming new year. May every one of you be blessed. And here is my favorite song for this time of year, done in an incredible rendition. This is for King
told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, to lay before the king. Rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. So to honor him, rum-pa-pum-pum, when we on my
me and mine.